Tampa, Florida. It's warm and humid on Florida's Gulf Coast as two of college football's most legendary programs ring in 2007. It's the Volunteers of Tennessee with a record of 9-3 against the 8-4 Nittany Lions of Penn State in the Outback Bowl. What great memories will be created today.
So Ohio State lines up, trying to block this field goal attempt of 42 yards. Got it.
A chance to win this historic coaching matchup in triple overtime. Penn State winner of the 2006 FedEx Orange Bowl.
A year ago, Joe Paterno's Penn State Nittany Lions served notice they were back among the nation's elite. And this year, they proved that their roar had been fully restored. For the second straight season, Paul Posluszny is college football's Defensive Player of the Year. His wingman is Dan Connor. Together, they faced a rugged defense and continued the storied tradition of linebacker U. But they'll be tested by one of the top offenses in the nation, Philip Fulmer's Tennessee Volunteers. Quarterback Eric Ainge may be the most accurate passer in school history. And his favorite target is Robert Meacham, an All-American who had the most prolific season ever. It's Tennessee versus Penn State, the SEC versus the Big Ten. Stadium in Tampa, Florida, 65,000 plus a sellout crowd to support Tennessee and Penn State. Good morning, everybody. Mike Patrick, Todd Blackledge. It's great to have you with us. Holly Rowe will join us shortly. Between them, these teams won 17 games this year, Todd, but they certainly did it in different styles. Tennessee with that explosive offense, Penn State with their nationally ranked defense. So today, strength against strength.
Yeah, both these teams have a very strong right hand. That Tennessee pass offense led by quarterback Eric Ainge and All-American receiver Robert Meacham going against that rugged Penn State defense, a couple of All-American linebackers and Paul Posluszny and Dan Connor. Both those groups will get their shots in, but I think this game will ultimately be decided by which team has the stronger left hand. Who will play better, the Penn State offense or the Tennessee defense today?
Holly Rowe, of course, will work the sidelines for us. And Holly, the big question is, will Joe Paterno be on the sideline with you?
Well, guys, he will not be on the sideline today. Joe's actually been getting around well all week, despite the surgically repaired left leg. But today, because of this constant drizzle this morning, the sideline is wet and slick. He's made the decision to be upstairs in the coach's booth with his defensive and offensive staff. He did come down pregame. He came out onto the field, greeted his players, greeted Tennessee coach Philip Fulmer, and then he went back in the tunnel, and before heading upstairs, he actually had a nice little chat with the officials, guys. He gave them some grief and said, boy, are you lucky today. I have 2 games of pent-up frustration. You're lucky I'm not down on the sidelines. He did address his team in the locker room before the game. He will do so again at halftime. But, guys, the acting coach on the field today for Penn State will be Tom Bradley.
And, Holly, I bet the officials believed him, too.
Yep, absolutely.
It's great to see him anyway. 80 years old. He is recovering nicely from that broken leg, much faster than really you could possibly expect anyone to do it.
When you consider it was 57 days ago that he had surgery, pretty amazing for anybody to be back this quickly, let alone an 80-year-old person.
It sure is. Will Hoyt to kick it away for Tennessee. He's the senior, and Kinlaw and A.J. Wallace are deep for the Nittany Lions of Penn State. A.J. Wallace fighting for yardage up to the 19-yard line. Time now to meet Penn State starters on offense.
I'm Derek Williams, starting receiver. Here's our starting lineup. Quarterback, Anthony Morelli. He's a gunslinger. Running back, Tony the Horse Hunt. You better get out his way. Offensive line, we have Levi Brown, big country. He's an All-American.
Right away, we'll see those 2 left hands. The Penn State offense, the Tennessee defense, neither ranked very high in their respective conferences after 12 games.
Morelli to throw on first down. Floats it sideline, complete, and a perfect throw to Deion Butler. and the little guy came up with a catch. He's 5'10", 166 out of Woodbridge, Virginia. Perfect throw from Morelli.
And a great confidence builder for Morelli. First throw out of the box, a beautiful touch pass over the outside shoulder. Dion Butler came to Penn State as a walk-on defensive back. He knows how to work defenders because of his experience in the defensive secondary. Beautiful job separating as the ball comes to him, and you can't throw it any better than Morelli did on the first one.
Hunt, the 5th leading rusher all time in Penn State history, and it's not like they haven't had a couple of good running backs in Joe Paterno's tenure.
Yeah, absolutely, and he's quiet. You know, he's a quiet guy. He doesn't say a whole lot. Not a whole lot is said about him, but back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. He reminds most of the Penn State coaches, Joe Paterno included, of Richie Anderson, who played a long time in the NFL for Bill Parcells with both the Giants and the Jets.
Richie Anderson, a brilliant pass receiver during his NFL career.
Derek Williams in the quarterback position right now.
And a whistle will kill this play. This has become a favorite thing of a lot of programs, bringing in a really athletic guy to take the direct snap.
Well, and one of the things, you have extra time.
False start on the offense. It's number 64. 5-yard penalty. Remains second down.
You know, Penn State had extra time to prepare. Both offenses did. And one of the teams that had a lot of success against Tennessee was Arkansas. Darren McFadden ran for 181 yards, and a lot of that came from the quarterback position. So this is not new for Penn State to put Derek back there, but I think we'll see an expanded package of him in the direct quarterback snap position.
Williams goes back outside as the flanker. Hunt is back in as the running back, and this is Morelli again. Another perfect strike to Butler. Here are the starters on defense for the Tennessee Volunteers.
Hi, my name is Xavier Mitchell, starting left DN. I'm going to introduce to you the real UT defense. At tackle, he got Turk McBride, Camden, New Jersey, all SEC performer. In the linebacker spots, highlighted by Marvin Mitchell. In the secondary, you got some of the best players around, highlighted by Jonathan Hevney, a.k.a. Jay Horn.
Another first down, Penn State, and it's not like they gave Morelli a couple of easy tosses to get started in this game. Draw play to Hunt, and Tennessee closes that one down at the 36. Middle linebacker Marvin Mitchell on the tackle. A lot of times when you have a quarterback who you may have a lack of confidence in or may have lack of confidence in himself, a couple of screens, maybe a hitch to get him going. They threw him a couple of toughies in there.
And he looks good. And Jay Paterno, the quarterback coach, said, I will be surprised if Anthony does not play well. He's had a great month in preparation. Right now he's out at the wide receiver, so we have Derek Williams again at the quarterback position. That's number 2.
A.J. Wallace is beside him, and Wallace takes the fake. That's that read option for the quarterback.
Just another something to look at for Tennessee. And again, now they've had extra time to prepare, and they know, hey, Arkansas hurt us bad. I mean, Arkansas ran for 259 yards against us. So John Chavis and Philip Fulmer said, we got to be prepared for that. I mean, teams are going to see that. They're going to know, hey, they had some problems with that. And so far, Tennessee on the first 2 snaps of that looked like they were ready for it.
15th year for Philip Fulmer, his 14th bowl game. Jordan Norwood, number 24, is in as a third down back. Morelli to throw. 3-man rush, wants a screen. Hunt dives to the 28, close to the 27-yard line.
Really nice play by Xavier Mitchell, I believe, running from his defensive end position, read the play, and tackled Hunt from behind. I thought Hunt was going to make the first down.
I did too.
But Mitchell, great hustle on the play.
Now, Tom Bradley will be acting in place of Joe Paterno on the sideline. Here comes the field goal unit on 4th and 2.
And this is an area of concern for Joe Paterno. He felt Tennessee had an edge in the kicking game, felt it was about even punting. Kevin Kelly not as strong this year as he was a year ago, 20 of 29 from field goal attempts.
But he's a gamer, had the game winner in the Orange Bowl a year ago. This is a 49-yard try, and he pushed it. 45, excuse me. So Joe Paterno's concern about the kicking game gets him on the first drive.
And when I was watching before the game, he was hitting the ball pretty well, but when he got out around 40 or higher, he was pushing that ball. Joe Paterno knew, good offensive drive, we hit some passes, we got to capitalize with points. Not the way he wanted to start.
I mean, 45 is not a chip shot, but in this day and age, you come to expect it.
Well, and just as important as the 2 completions were for Morelli, the first missed field goal just as negative for Kevin Kelly.
Ainge leads them out, and the handoff
fumble falls on the
goes to
ground.
Hardesty. The ball is loose. Tennessee got it back. Montario Hardesty coughs it up on the first play.
Well, the best player up front for Penn State is number 13, Jay Alford. He got penetration. He's going against a true freshman, Jacques McClendon, starting at right guard for Tennessee, his first start. And right away, Alford gets penetration into the backfield.
Second team All-American. He was the lone returning starter on that Penn State defensive line to begin this season. Ainge goes to the shotgun. Quick out, complete only for a couple of yards to Lucas Taylor. Time to meet Tennessee starters on offense.
Hi, I'm Aaron Sears, offensive tackle from Russellville, Alabama. Starting at quarterback today is Eric Ainge, the Western slinger from Oregon. And then you got the 2 big play receivers. You got Robert Meacham from Tulsa, Oklahoma. You got Jay Swain from Northern Alabama. And then at the right tackle, you got Eric Young, representing Union, South Carolina, country boy. And then you got me on the backside protecting EA.
What a very pleasant young man and a tremendous talent at left tackle. He has quite a future in professional football as well. 3rd and long. Ainge under pressure, hit as he throws. The ball's incomplete. Meacham had a shot at it and couldn't hold it.
And
pressure on Ainge.
Yeah, again, it was Alford getting the pressure from his defensive tackle. Very rarely do you see a team whose leading sacker is a defensive tackle, but that's what Penn State has in Jay Alford. Leads the team with 8.5 sacks. His pressure forced the throw to be a little bit behind Meacham.
And they are playing without the other starter at tackle, Ed Johnson, who was suspended for a violation of team rules. That counters the violations committed academically by Brett Smith for Tennessee. He's out of this ball game as well. Colquitt kicks to Derek Williams, and Williams bumped as the ball got there. And now the late flag because Williams was bumped, even though it wasn't very close.
Yeah, but I thought Williams actually tried to block the man himself and decided not to catch the football. He looked and he eyeballed the guy coming down, and he knew he wasn't blocked. And at the last minute, I think Derek decided, I'm not going to catch this, but I'm going to keep him away from the ball.
Well, let's see. That may be the discussion right now with our officiating crew. You obviously can't make a fair catch signal and block, but it looked like he was running.
I don't think he made a fair catch. I think they're going to wave it off, and no flag.
Flag is being picked up. We're running into the receivers. We got first down, Penn State.
Penn State will have the ball when we come back at the 22. Joe Paterno doesn't like the spot.
We're here outside our original Outback Steakhouse in Tampa, Florida, which we opened up 19 years ago. Through the terrific efforts of all our Outbackers taking care of our customers each and every day, we've had the great opportunity to do really exciting things like being title sponsor of the Outback Bowl. This year is our 12th year of title sponsorship, and we welcome the Tennessee Volunteers and the Penn State Nittany Lions to the game. We also like to thank all the folks who do a wonderful job at bringing the Outback Bowl to a real memorable experience for everyone. On behalf of everyone at the Outback Steakhouse, we hope you're enjoying the game and you have a really terrific new year.
Cast in high definition and presented by Olivia. Both teams have had the ball once. Penn State had a pretty good drive, got into scoring territory and missed a 45-yard field goal. Williams to take a direct snap. He has run the ball 33 times this year. And now they switch back to Morelli, and Williams goes into the slot. Another good throw by Morelli. This complete to Williams, then he couldn't hold it.
Well, the good news for Penn State, I think, is that Anthony Morelli looks very sharp. I mean, that ball was not caught, but it was thrown well. And he looks comfortable, and he looks decisive. Really, the biggest thing for him this year, he had moments of indecisiveness, which you would expect. He only had 33 pass attempts coming into this season as a first-year starter.
He's out as a flanker. They'll give the ball to A.J. Wallace, and Wallace gets up to the 34. These are the kind of formations where you get your really good athletes on the field.
Well, Wallace has superior speed, and earlier in the year they were using him more on offense, and then he became more of a factor as a defensive corner, so they took him out of the offensive game plan. But again, you've had extra time to prepare in a bowl game, extra chance to tinker with your offense, add some wrinkles, and A.J. Wallace a part of that package today.
So many teams have gone to this, as you said, as a package. Other teams have gone to it totally as their offense. It's very effective no matter which way you do it. Morelli buying some time, throws on the run sideline. That looked like it was out of bounds.
Not a completion, but that guy right there, Andrew Corliss, the tight end, a true freshman, 6'5", 250 pounds out of Uniondale, New York. And John Chavis, the defensive coordinator, said, I am extremely impressed with this guy. If he keeps working and if he develops as a blocker over the next couple years, he has a chance to be as good as any tight end in the country. He's really become a factor for Penn State down the stretch. In the last game against Michigan State, 4 catches for a career-high 87 yards.
Draw play to Hunt. Hunt diving for the sticks. He's going to be about a half-yard short, and a flag is down back at the 33-yard line.
Holding on the offense. Number 64. 10-yard penalty from the previous line of scrimmage. Replay second down.
That's a second penalty on Rich Ornberger, the right guard.
Yeah. Second penalty you mentioned. He just got his hands outside a little bit. Watch him right here. He's just going to reach out and grab on the outside of that white jersey. And keep your hands inside. And then the takedown at the end of the play. Good call. You know, they say you could call holding on every play, but that one was pretty obvious.
And linemen have to have a sense of when the back has gone by them and to disengage, so because it didn't matter at that point.
That's a big penalty for Tennessee. It helps them. Second and very long now for Penn State.
Hunt again. Big hole up the middle. Got the penalty yardage back and a couple.
You see the power of Tony Hunt. He lowers his shoulders really well, and that's what makes him difficult to tackle because he's a tall back at 6'2", but he gets his shoulder pads down, and that makes him a hard target to hit. He initiates contact, and that allows him to always fall forward and break tackles and make extra yards.
He's gained 20 yards so far in the first quarter. He only needs 46 more to pass DJ Dozier for number 4 on Penn State's all-time list. Tennessee shows blitz, and they come with it. Morelli waited as long as he could and got it to Derek Williams, who was plastered and then starts wolfing at Jonathan Wade. And there's a flag down on this one.
Well, this should give him 5 more yards and bring up a third and more manageable situation. Third and
like
3.
Tennessee jumped.
Yeah. Tennessee deciding to come with some pressure.
On the defense. Number 20. 5-yard penalty from the previous line of scrimmage. Replay third down.
That was Demetrius Morley, the safety, who was sneaking up on the blitz. Cost him 5.
Yeah, this is a different Tennessee defense. They have not played as well this year as historically they have under John Chavis. And there are several reasons. They lost a couple big-time players in the Air Force game. Their best defensive lineman, Justin Harrell, and also Inky Johnson, their best cover corner. They lost in that ball game. 2 very important cogs in this defense.
Morelli, another roll to the right. Throws on the run. Batted away, incomplete. Morley atones for that mistake and gets over there and knocked that ball down.
Nice play by Morley. Probably a late throw by Morelli. He kind of stared it down. He pump faked. And by the time he did throw, it allowed Morley to come over and make the play.
And the sideline turned out to be a helpful defender there. The field kept squeezing down in size as he continued to roll. Capanos will punt, and Hefney, who is averaging almost 13 yards as a return, is back.
Yeah, had a big return against South Carolina, 65 yards, really kind of turned that game. 2 big returns in the Alabama game as well.
Capanos was a third-team Associated Press All-American. Floats this one high, fair catch signaled and made at the 26-yard line. When we come back, we will tell you how Peyton Manning's poignant advice helped shape Eric Ainge's comeback season.
brought to you by Outback Steakhouse. Let go of the day. Go Outback tonight. Singular, raising the bar. And Edge Active Care. Great shave, healthy skin.
Love those guys.
That's good stuff. Yeah.
Nothing first quarter. Tennessee with its second possession. Monterio Hardesty, the running back. Ainge fakes to him and throws complete out at the 41-yard line to Jason Swain. Eric Ainge now 41 career touchdown passes. He's number 3 all-time on Tennessee list. Made a dramatic improvement from a year ago. 20% in his completion percentage. That's just a tremendous increase. 19 touchdown passes as opposed to only 7 a year ago. The yardage, 250% more this season. Two tight end formation. Ainge to throw out of it. Complete to Swain, who's been bothered by a bad ankle. Looked pretty good on that one. And Swain all the way to the 35.
And tackling is such a huge thing. When we talked to both defensive coordinators, they said, you know what? The layoff hurts a defense more than an offense because of tackling. These wide receivers for Tennessee are strong and they're athletic. And if they break a tackle like he did right there on Tony Davis, it turns a short completion into a much longer gain. And Tennessee's wide receivers have that ability to break tackles and take a short pass and make it a big play.
And this is an explosive offense. Hardesty into the middle of the line. Let's check with Holly Rowe. Holly.
Well, you guys saw that dramatic improvement from Eric Ainge's last season to this season. And of course, the emergence of David Cutcliffe as his new offensive coordinator is the key. But he got some important advice from an old pupil of David Cutcliffe's. Peyton Manning was around Tennessee this last summer, and Eric said, what advice do you have about Cutcliffe? He said, just keep your mouth shut. You've got to trust this guy. Look what he's done for me and for my brother. His track record is proven. Just be quiet and listen.
It's not bad when you help produce those two guys, Peyton and Eli, at two different schools. Ainge, sideline. That's the All-American Meacham. And Meacham taken out of bounds by Justin King, who was a freshman All-American a year ago.
When you talk about Eric Ainge, I mean, there's a lot of factors. Obviously, David Cutcliffe was a huge part of that. And David's ability to convince Eric of how to practice and how to prepare and how to work. So a lot of it was his commitment. But you can't take away, Randy Sanders, who was the quarterback coach before that, went to Kentucky and did a pretty good job with Andre Woodson at Kentucky this year. So it wasn't all a matter of the coaching. A lot of it had to do with Eric's rededication and commitment to what he's doing.
Yes, it did. Tennessee is going to use a timeout. 5:06 to go first quarter. Tennessee with its best offensive possession so far in this game. Two teams that very easily could have been playing for a national championship this year.
Should be a great matchup. Two extremely talented football teams. Maybe the best two wide receiving corps in all of college football on the same field today.
Josh Briscoe on the field, number 81 for Tennessee, as an additional wide receiver, and they've had to change up that receiving corps because of Brett Smith's loss. Ainge short set.
And you know what? This right here is a big problem with Tennessee's offense.
Sure
it's third and short. They only averaged 110 yards rushing per game this year, 10th in the SEC. Now, this Tennessee used to be a team that could run the football with the best of them. But they opt to audible to a short pass on third and short, partly out of respect for the Penn State defense, but partly out of their inability to run the football this season.
And I think Briscoe ran the wrong route, the new slot guy.
Absolutely.
So that compounds that. And now they'll go for a 44-yard field goal from Wilhoit, who's had a brilliant year, 17 of 21, trying to give Tennessee the lead. Wilhoit puts Tennessee on the board first. Penn State misses a long field goal. Tennessee connects on one. The difference, 3-0. First quarter of the Outback Bowl from Tampa. Old? Did he say old?
I don't know what he meant by that. He just giving some props to the Hoover Vikings basketball team back in North Canton, Ohio.
I think he meant old. Nice kick, and Penn State will have to take it at the 20 as Will Hoyt drills his 37th touchback kick this year. Certainly two coaching legends. Bob Knight, 879 wins, tied for first. Paterno was number one, but Bobby Bowden caught him and passed him. And Joe Pod, 362. I love the story they told about sitting together apart from other coaches at coaching clinics, and somebody would ask them why they're sitting apart, and Bowden would always say, because we have statues. They both have statues outside their respective stadium. I thought that was great. Hunt back on the ground attack will pick up about 3 before Turk McBride, who is Tennessee's best defensive lineman, makes the tackle.
Turk McBride is really a good football player. The problem for Turk McBride is he started the season out as a defensive end. He's 275 pounds, very quick off the ball. But with the injury to Justin Harrow, he had to move inside to play more defensive tackle. He's played both, but he's a little more suited physically to play on the defensive end.
Hunt again.
See the power again of Tony Hunt.
He is dragging tacklers, including Marvin Mitchell, with him. He's at 230. Joe Paterno said one of the best all-around backs he has ever had. A great pass protector as well.
He's had a little trouble with his helmet. That's the second time he's had his helmet off and had to make some equipment adjustments there. He's one of those guys too. I mean, obviously we're still early in the ball game, but the longer the game goes on and the more tired a defense gets, the better a guy like Tony Hunt gets. And he gets stronger as the game goes on, the more a defense gets fatigued.
Brandon Snow is in as the blocking back. He's number 30, third and a yard. Hunt got it. Brandon Snow led him into the hole, and where they mark it past the yellow line, it's going to be a first down for the Nittany Lions. 2 years with over 1,000 yards rushing. That's a pretty good list.
Well,
Capoletti
sure
was a Heisman winner.
This guy here was my teammate, Kurt Warner, and I'll tell you, he was as good a running back as I ever saw, ever played with. First-round draft pick of the Seattle Seahawks, all-pro guy.
Morelli with time. That's a long, dangerous throw, but complete to the sideline to Norwood, and Norwood fighting for extra yardage. I thought that was going to be picked off.
Well, Morley went for the interception, and the ball was thrown over Morley's hands. Morley took a guess and a gamble, and the gamble failed for us. Watch Morelli. He gets this ball over Demetrius Morley, number 20, coming for the interception, and when he misses the pick, Norwood turns it into a much bigger gang than there originally would have been. Nice touch pass by Anthony Morelli.
Boy, Morley thought he had a pick six. Morelli floats this one high and incomplete. Intended for his tight end, Corliss.
One of the biggest things I think that Anthony Morelli has learned in this period between the Michigan State game, which was November 18th, and this bowl game, January 1st, 2007, is just, you know what, I can't make every throw. Sometimes I've got to just dump it off. Sometimes I got to throw it away like he did on that play. I can't make a big play every throw, and that's one of the first big lessons that a young quarterback has to learn.
I was just going to ask, how hard was it for you? I mean, all you guys who became All-American quarterbacks were stars in high school. You could do anything.
You want to make a big play every time you throw, every time a pass play is called, and you can't do that.
Hunt. Boy, he's tough. 230. He just pounds ahead. Picks up 7. Antonio Reynolds made the tackle. Kajana Carter, one of the guys on that list of all-time running backs. Had some injury problems after he got into the NFL.
Kajana lives down here in South Florida, over on the other side of the coast, and he played on the 94 Penn State team that I believe offensively was the best offensive team Penn State ever had. They had Kerry Collins and Kyle Brady, the tight end, a couple big-time wideouts. That was an explosive offensive football team.
Hunt.
Big stop right there for the Tennessee
sure
defense.
Was.
Kind of a slow developing looking play by Penn State.
Marvin Mitchell fired under everybody.
Unusual, very conservative call.
What wasn't it?
That time by Galen Hall, offensive coordinator. They had some momentum, a couple plays into Tennessee territory, and then a very conservative run play called on that 3rd down and 5. Did not fool the Tennessee defense.
Kapanos will punt to Hefney. Beautiful high spiral. Hefney backs up, makes a fair catch inside the 5. Big mistake on his part.
You know, and you wonder, I mean, Hefney has done this all year, and you see the anger on Philip Fulmer because you put your heels on the 10-yard line. If the ball goes over your head, you let it go. You don't catch the ball inside the 10. And you can see Philip Fulmer very disappointed with his returner because this Penn State defense is good enough that you don't want to help them out by putting your own offense inside the 5.
And Todd, you're right. The rule is if you have to back up, let it go
and hope it bounces
really
into the end zone.
easy.
Let them have the burden of trying to down it inside the 10.
Exactly. Arian Foster, number 27, will be the new running back as the officials want to confer here for a second.
Please reset the game clock to 51 seconds. 5-1.
The last offensive possession for Tennessee, they moved into field goal range. They went with some no huddle. It wasn't a hurry up so much as it was a no huddle to prevent Penn State from doing any substituting on defense.
Foster, one of 3 running backs they have used this year. 257 yards rushing coming into this game. He lines up 4 yards deep in the end zone, and he'll get this carry. Nice hole off the left side, and he roars ahead up near the 13-yard line. Let's meet the Penn State defense, introduced by the guy who faces them every day in practice.
Hey, Deion Butler here, starting wide receiver, former DB, so I'm going to announce the defense. First, we have our terrific defensive line starring Jay Alford, a.k.a. Yum Yum, watch your snacks. Then we move on to our terrific linebackers, starred by one guy, Daniel Sean Paul. Watch them play. They all play the same. You'll know what I mean. Then we move on to our secondary, led by Justin, Don't Throw My Way King. And on the other side is Tony Oh No Davis, because that's what you'll say when you've thrown his way. Go, Penn State.
Tennessee getting some operating room as Arian Foster barrels out for the first down, taken down by Connor and Shaw. And that will be the end of the first quarter from Tampa. You're watching the Outback Bowl. 3-0, Tennessee. Presentation of the Outback Bowl. Mike Patrick along with Todd Blackledge and Holly Rowe. We're in Tampa, Florida, Raymond James Stadium. 65,000 plus. And the SEC had a good run here. 1-7 in the last 10 against the Big Ten in the Outback Bowl.
A couple good runs to end the quarter for Tennessee. 2 carries, 12 yards. They had 0 rushing yards before those last 2 plays of the first quarter.
And Foster stays in there. Ames, play fake, goes on the screen to Meacham. Meacham breaks the tackle.
See, that's
taken down by Connor. May have had another first down.
That's what Meacham can do. He breaks tackles. He's 6'3", 210 pounds. And Justin King just not able to get him on the ground.
Check in with Holly Rowe. Holly?
Well, guys, they are checking on an injured Tennessee player here on the sideline. I'll update you on that in a minute. But just before this last series, when Tennessee's offense was on the sideline, the players came up to Eric Ainge and asked him why he checked out of the run play on that 3rd and 2nd failed third down conversion. He said, I didn't like what the linebacker was showing me. He went through great lengths to explain it to his guys, and they agreed. It was really good communication. Everybody got on the same page, but then he and Jason Swain stepped aside and said, hey, next time we're on 3rd and short, 3rd and inches, Jason, you just go bam, 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 and then I'm going to get that ball out there. So I don't know what the bam, bam, bam play is, Todd, but look for that on the next short, 3rd and short.
Thanks, Holly. That's David Ligon, the 300-pound senior left guard.
Yep. That means Ramon Foster now, number 78, is in to take his place at left guard. So you have a sophomore at left guard. You have a true freshman, Jock McClendon, at right guard. On this 2nd and short play.
Holly will watch out for that bam, bam, bam play.
Bam, bam, bam is run behind Eric Sears.
Yeah, good idea. Foster, they found something in the middle of that Penn State defense they've been able to exploit on the last couple of runs. Sean Lee, the 3rd linebacker.
Well, Foster,
this great group made the tackle.
Foster is the biggest of the Tennessee running backs. 215 pounds, does a nice job of feeling that and running back inside. And again, Sean Lee in position to make a tackle. A little passive going at Foster, and Foster turns it into a nice gain.
3 carries, 20 yards so far for Foster. And around, loose ball.
Still loose.
Penn State's got it. Foster tried to hand it to Swain. It was a bad handoff, and Shaw.
You know what I love what Jim Shaw did? He didn't try to be a star and score a touchdown.
Right.
He said, the ball's loose. I'm just going to curl around it and get it to our offense. A poor exchange. And Shaw just wraps around it and secures the football. A huge mistake for Tennessee deep in their own territory.
You either hand it to him or lateral it to him. It can't be the one that's in between. And that's what that one was.
Those are the kind of plays that you work on all the time, your trick plays. You want to fool the defense, but it's all about execution.
Huge opportunity for Penn State. Derek Williams to take the direct snap. And Williams will take off. Picks up about 3.
You got to take your hat off to John Chavis and this Tennessee defense. They are ready for that package. Again, Arkansas really caused some problems for them in their game in Fayetteville. Of course, Darren McFadden is a pretty spectacular football player as well. Finished 2nd in the Heisman.
Yeah, sure is.
Ran for 181 yards as a Penn State offensive lineman down.
That's Chris Auletta, who started for John Shaw at right tackle. Shaw has had a bad knee, and now Auletta having a problem. You see the brace on his knee already. We'll check on him when we come back. With the Outback Bowl in Tampa, where it's 3-0 Tennessee. And one of the reasons that turnover is so big for Penn State, they are not exactly an offensive juggernaut.
Right.
72nd in scoring. They have to get their points any way they can. Morelli out in the flat, and that's complete to Norwood, and Norwood wrapped up immediately by Jonathan Wade.
I'll go back to show you something on Derek Williams in the quarterback position. Now, Tennessee is clued in to stop in the run. So what Penn State needs to do is they need to let this safety come flying up to stop the run and maybe look to throw the ball. Watch how quickly the safety, Hefney, comes up to fill on the run. Derek Williams can throw the football. The next time they get in that quarterback with Derek Williams, don't be surprised to see Penn State try to throw it.
Morelli. Williams this time will make the catch and should have the first down. Nice throw by Morelli.
And you know what they're doing a good job of? They're moving Anthony Morelli out of the pocket. They're moving him in different spots, giving him a lot of green grass in front of him.
I thought he was going to take off on that one. Had plenty of room to run, but you can get it to Williams, a better idea.
Now Penn State going with a no huddle, trying to prevent Tennessee from subbing back to their base defense.
Hunt on the draw. Inside the 10, mark it inside the 8.
Here they
need
go
to reach
again.
the 4 for first down.
Trying to hurry up, trying to get to the line of scrimmage. It's not so much a hurry-up 2-minute type offense as it is to keep the pressure on the Tennessee defense. You got them backed up a little bit, maybe a little fatigued. Go at them.
Second down, and Hunt never had a chance. Turk McBride said, I've seen enough of this.
Well, yeah, Turk McBride's the best guy up there, and you better at least try to block him. Here he is over the center. The guard doesn't cut him off at all. Nobody picks up Turk McBride, and he's into the backfield. I mean, if you're going to block anybody up there, you better block 90.
The guard went to the right instead of the left, and Turk McBride.
That was a huge play.
He got a free one.
That was a huge play for Tennessee. It was 2nd and 5, and now it's 3rd and 10.
Running backs don't like those plays.
Movement, left tackle, now it's 3rd and 15. Penn State had some momentum, and now they're moving backwards.
Squandering an opportunity, perhaps.
False start on the offense. Number 67. 5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
Levi Brown, he's their best, the left tackle.
This is not a team that has been very effective in the red zone this year. You mentioned 72nd in scoring and towards the bottom in the Big Ten in red zone production.
Which is surprising because Hunt is such a good short yardage runner. You would think they'd be a little bit better at it.
Well, young quarterback throwing in the red zone is different than throwing anywhere else. Everything happens a little bit faster.
3rd and 14. Pressure comes fast that time. Morelli. What you were talking about earlier. Making the decision not to force the play, to throw the ball away, at least preserve a field goal.
Absolutely. I mean, the worst thing that he could do right there, the two worst things. The worst thing would be throwing interception.
Yep.
The second worst thing would be taking a sack and backing the field goal attempt up even further. As it is, hey, live to play another day and hope that Kevin Kelly can tie the score.
Xavier Mitchell was putting on the pressure. Kelly, who has missed from 45, will try this from 34. Penn State has tied the game. This entire bowl season, you've heard players introduce their teammates for the starting lineups. When we come back, we'll take you back 25 years and show you how it all started with a very familiar
Hi, I'm
face.
Todd Blackledge, quarterback of the Penn State Nittany Lions, and I'd like to introduce you to the rest of the starting lineup for the Sugar Bowl. Hi, I'm Todd Blackledge, quarterback of the Penn State Nittany Lions, and I'd like to introduce you to the rest of the starting lineup for the Sugar Bowl. Starting with my roommate, number 25, running back Kurt Warner from tiny Wyoming, West Virginia. We all call him Curtis Blow, and his friends call him Doo-Doo. Recently won the ET Lookalike contest at Penn State. Thanks, you want to be. Fine receiver, losing a lot of his hair, though. Real name Julius, nickname Juju. And that's the starting lineup that you'll see in the Sugar Bowl, and that's the offensive lineup that's going to do a number on the Georgia Bulldogs.
You like my football mustache? 11 hairs on each side?
That milky thing, that gammy-handed little thing you managed to grow.
That was funny.
Kinlaw and Wallace are deep. That was the original. Todd Blackledge, the first player to ever introduce his teammate. They'll start from the 21-yard line. Now, I got to give you your props for this. Now, that's a better, the still picture we had up was a better picture. You did a good job at that.
Thank you.
You really did.
It was funny because they told me they wanted to do it, and they sent a producer up to ABC. And the night before, I went through, I memorized all the heights and weights and hometowns. And as soon as we got to do the shoot, the guy said, look, what we don't want is we don't want heights and weights and hometowns. We want to keep it loose, try to make it funny. We did it in one take. I had a lot of guys on my team that didn't want to speak to me for a few days, because I said some things that were a little personal.
Yeah. Tennessee's had some success running this football here early.
The other thing that was interesting is that aired right after the coin toss, and Keith Jackson and Frank Broyles were doing the game, and I did that thing and said we won the toss, we were going to receive, and I said that's the team is going to do a number on the Georgia Bulldogs, and I went back to Keith, and Keith said he hopes. But we did. We went down and scored the first drive, so it worked out perfectly.
As only he could say.
That's right.
They have been attacking the middle of that Penn State defense, and they've been doing it very effectively. We're at the Outback Bowl in Tampa. It's the Big Ten against the SEC, and it's 3-3 here in the second quarter. 17th ranked Tennessee, Penn State in the blue and white.
You mentioned what they found on the inside is they found going against the replacement defensive tackle, Steve Roach, number 53, in for Ed Johnson, the suspended starter.
Meacham on the handoff, and Alford saw that one coming.
Yeah. And every time that they've tried to do something tricky or go sideways in the running game, Penn State has been there to stop it. When they've gone straight ahead, they've been okay. Here they try to go reverse with Meacham, and Alford, again, beats the right guard, Jock McClendon, the true freshman in there.
They really weren't going to get either tackle. Those cutoff blocks are tough.
See, Alford and Ed Johnson were used to working together. Now, Alford's not with his buddy anymore because Johnson not here, but a big play by Jay.
2nd and 16. Ainge goes to Foster on the draw. Foster out to the 35, caught from behind by Tim Shaw, who leads the defensive linemen in tackles this year with 48. And, of course, you mentioned Ed Johnson. He's suspended for this game, a violation of team rules. Brett Smith, violation of academic standards, and he was the #1 slot receiver. So you can pretty much call that one a draw, depending on how much you like either one of those players.
Because you take something away from both teams' strength. Brett Smith had career numbers this year in receptions and yards.
3rd and 8. Kozlowski and Connor haven't been that much of a factor so far. Here's a little swing. Foster wide open. He's got the first down.
Nice read by Ainge.
Driven out of bounds. Tony Davis, the corner, as Chris Brown got a good block for him on the sideline.
Penn State is a zone primarily team. They don't play a lot of man coverage. Now watch these linebackers drop into zone, and Eric Ainge is going to do a nice job of just finding his outlet right over here. They drop into zone. They're very well schooled. They're well disciplined. They take away all the outside routes, dump it off underneath. Take what this Penn State defense gives you. That's what Eric Ainge did there for the first down.
Fresh set of downs with 8:59 to go in the quarter. Hardesty comes in as the running back, and they will blow this one dead.
It was interesting when we talked to David Cutcliffe and Eric Ainge when they talked about the Penn State defense.
Prior to snap, false start on the offense, number 86, 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
It's the tight end, Brad Cottom.
They both said it's the best coached defense that they've seen all year. And when you watch tape of them and you freeze it in the middle of a pass coverage, he said their linebackers, everybody is in the right spot. They don't make mistakes. They don't get out of position. That doesn't mean there aren't openings, but it means you better not try to force something where there's nothing there.
Straight ahead handoff, not much.
Alford is playing a ball game.
He really is. He's having a heck of a ball game. 6'3", 288 out of Orange, New Jersey, a senior.
Yeah, and you know why he wears 13? He was a former quarterback. He was a quarterback in high school. Now, he completely ate himself out of that position, but he is very quick and athletic at that inside tackle position. David Cutcliffe called him a disruptor. And he told us, he said, Jock McClendon's got a grace of 2 holding penalties. He said, you've got 2 to give on this guy if you need him.
That's pretty good. He better use one, because Alford is just eating him up. Brown out in the flat and the tight end. Drilled by Connor as another defender stood him up. A lot of people thought that Dan Connor, after Kozlowski moved from the outside to the middle, was actually the best linebacker on this team, and that's saying a mouthful, because Kozlowski, one of the most honored linebackers ever at linebacker U. 13 first-team All-Americans under Joe Paterno. That averages about 1 every 3 years. That's first-team All-American. It's a remarkable run for them. 3rd and 7. Haynes wants to change the play. Blitz coming. They pick it up, throw underneath to Brown, and Brown.
And you see those two linebackers.
To 45 right there.
I mean, the tackling, that's one thing this Penn State defense has been very good at all year is tackling. You don't get a lot of extra yardage against them. And Dan Connor and Puz Lesney both there to stop the tight end Brown for no extra gain after the catch. Also, Nolan McCready, the nickel back in there, number 24 as well, bringing up a 4th down play.
And on that formation, I thought for all the world they were going to end up throwing to Brad Cottom, who was in the slot. Now, he is, normally you've got a guy out there 5'9", 165 pounds, a little water bug kind of speedster. Well, Cottom isn't that. He's 6'8", 260, and they say he can run like a deer. So you've got a different kind of animal out there in the slot in that formation.
Yeah, a deer doesn't do it justice. I mean, you got to think of something bigger. An elk, maybe, or a fast moose. I don't know.
Delay of game on the offense. Number 47. 5-yard penalty. Remains 4th down.
That doesn't affect Colquitt, one of the best punters in the country. First team All-SEC. Joe looks pretty calm up there so far.
He does.
Both teams, I mean, the first quarter in a bowl game, you're just kind of feeling each other out and just trying to see what new adjustments both teams have put in, particularly offensively, and both defenses have kind of settled into the game a little bit here.
Britton is the 4th Colquitt to kick for Tennessee. He's 8th in the country this year. And the coaches said that Dustin, who preceded him, had just had a baby, and Philip Fulmer said he sent him the scholarship papers already. Great bounce. And Tennessee will down it inside the 10-yard line. 42-yard punt, no chance of a return. And another great kick from Colquitt. Penn State 8-4 this year, with 3 of those losses coming in the Big Ten to Ohio State, Michigan, and Wisconsin. The out-of-conference loss was to Notre Dame. All of those in the top 15 of the BCS. They have won 6 of their last 8 games. The offense matured during the season. And one of the big stories nationally, Joe Paterno with that broken bone in his leg, 2 knee ligaments. This is his 22nd New Year's Day bowl game, 33rd overall. He has appeared in more bowls and won more bowls than any other coach in history.
You talk about those losses for Joe Paterno's team. 3 of those teams are playing in BCS bowl games, and the only reason Wisconsin is you can't have 3 from the same conference.
Exactly. Penn State trying to get some operating room. Hunt out to the 10. Let's go to Reese Davis.
All right, Mike, on ESPN2, Bob Knight going to try to become the all-time winningest coach in men's Division I history, going for victory number 880 as Texas Tech takes on New Mexico on ESPN2. It's getting cranked up now.
I'm sure Bob will be happy to get that over with and deflect some of the attention and get back to what he would prefer to do, just win more games and not be bothered by everybody. Hunt. Big hole up the middle. Hunt, 20, 30, 34-yard line. Gain of 24. That'll make Joe Pa happy.
Nice job. Watch Levi Brown coming inside. 64, the right guard. Ornberger, who's had a couple penalties, pulls around and gets a nice block and a full head of steam for Tony Hunt. Getting those shoulders square upfield, and again, a very difficult guy to bring down with one player.
So they had him backed up, and Penn State escapes out to the 34. Hunt again. And I'm not sure if the last 2 plays unbalanced line to the left or just more of a formation shift to the left where
it's
they
a
have
different
5
formation,
guys on the left.
It's kind of a bunch formation to the left, which would suggest a throwing formation because you've got tight ends splanked out and wideouts, and they've run the ball to that bunch formation 2 plays in a row and picked up some nice yardage.
Boy, and Hunt showing you a little speed when he's had any kind of opening. And Penn State has done itself a favor just getting outside of the 5-yard line.
Well, field position, both defenses playing well, low-scoring game right now. Field position is huge. We talked about this Tennessee defense and what John Chavis this season was the American Football Coaches Association Assistant Coach of the Year. And a lot of that due to the fact of what he had to do without. You know, first of all, Tony McDaniels was going to be a starting inside defensive tackle. He opted to leave for the NFL early. Got drafted by Jacksonville. Then they lost Justin Harrell, their best returning defensive lineman, early in the season. Lost their cover corner, Inky Johnson, and they've had to battle. They've had to move people around and play some guys that maybe weren't quite ready to play this year. But they've held their own. They've won 9 football games.
Morelli wants a screen. Matt Hahn.
Nice job setting up the block.
First down and more. Hahn got a good block from Ornberger.
Yeah.
Corliss was downfield trying to get him some extra yardage as well.
Penn State's a big screen team. That's one of the ways they get the ball to Tony Hunt. This time they go to the fullback, Hahn, who had 9 catches coming into the game. Watch number 64, Ornberger, get the block out there and watch Hahn set it up. Little stutter step, then back outside, allows his man to get the block and adds about 10 yards to the catch.
Sometimes you wonder when defensive linemen have not been able to get one step across the line of scrimmage during the ball game, and all of a sudden they've got a free run at the quarterback that they wouldn't recognize as a screen.
Absolutely. You got to say, wait a minute, something's not right here.
Did I get this much better in one play? Back to Hunt. Well, he's just going to wear you down by the time you get to the fourth quarter.
Right.
You don't want to tackle a 230-pound back anymore.
And the other thing, the reason this plays to Penn State's favor is it keeps Eric Ainge in that explosive Tennessee passing game on the sidelines. We're getting ready to come under 4 minutes in the first half. Penn State methodically moving the football down the field. And they will want to use as much clock as they can. Keep their defense rested and keep the Tennessee offense and Eric Ainge on that sideline.
Morelli with that touch again down the sideline, complete inside the 2-yard line. Dion Butler, that's the way they started the game with that beautiful touch toss. This one goes for 31 yards. It will be first and goal.
They went against Antoine Stewart again, number 24. That's who they got on the first play of the game. They go back to that same well. Morelli does a nice job of looking the safety off to the left and then throwing back to his favorite receiver, Butler. And Butler does a great job of getting separation and then going to the football. It was interesting talking to Dion. He said, you know, because I was a former cornerback, I know what a defensive back doesn't like. I know what he wants to try to avoid, and I try to make him as uncomfortable as I can when I run around.
Butler, 2 years ago, was an invited walk-on as a defensive back. Now he leads this team in catches and yardage and averages 9 touchdowns last year, only 2 this year, and now we're going to take a look at this play. Butler today, 3 catches, 73 yards.
Well, they're reviewing, but watch his right foot. The ball is secured, right foot down, and we can't see from there if he's bobbling it, but it didn't look like it. It looked like he caught it and got the right foot down. You only need 1 foot in play, and then stepped out with the left foot.
And it was ruled a catch on the field, so that is going to stand.
Yeah, the ball wasn't bobbled at all.
And you know better than anybody, that is not an easy throw to make. He has thrown that same pattern to him twice and been perfect.
The key to throwing that route is throwing it over the outside shoulder, because that way the defender can't be right.
At the review, video confirms the call on the field. The catch is good. First down, Penn State.
Now, if we do have, excuse me, Todd, if we do have any controversies, we've got John Sophie, who is the supervisor of officials in the Big East. This is a Big East crew. He is in the replay booth. He'll be able to help us out today. Boy, this drive has been great for Penn State. 90 yards on 6 plays so far. Hunt. Not this time.
Good job by the Tennessee defense. I think it's very, very important that Penn State scores a touchdown here. For the biggest reason is for the majority of the first half, they have had a lot more plays, offensive plays in Tennessee's territory than Tennessee has had in Penn State territory. And so it's very important that they score a touchdown in this possession. They've been in Tennessee territory for much of the first half and only have 3 points to show for it at this point. It's the 16th play coming up in Tennessee part of the field.
Morelli, good play fake. Touchdown, wide open. The tight end, Andrew Corliss, with his second touchdown catch of the year. And Joe Paterno, because of that broken leg and the torn knee ligaments, up in the coaching box today, rather than on the sideline, had to enjoy that one.
Absolutely. And Anthony Morelli has had a very solid first half for Penn State.
Hasn't
much
he ever?
different than he did at any point during the 2006 season.
I know you're going out of your way to be fair, but I think he's been better than solid.
Yeah,
I think he's had a pretty
he's
darn
played very
good
well.
first half. 130 yards, touchdown pass, no mistakes. That may be the biggest thing on the stat sheet. No mistakes. Penn State with a lead over Tennessee.
Brought to you by the all-new 2007 Wrangler, a new species from Jeep. New Chase Freedom, finally a credit card that lets you choose cash back or rewards points. And Olivia, redefining high def.
Yes, that's from Ybor City in the Tampa-St. Pete area, where you can get some nicely made, handmade cigars. Tennessee and Penn State signs there. It's the longest scoring drive of the year for Penn State. What a great time to have it. 92 yards, a team that has been defensive-oriented all year long, struggling on offense. They go 92 yards.
And that quarterback, Anthony Morelli, has been much maligned this year, has taken a lot of heat, a lot of criticism for the problems of offense for Penn State. Not all his fault.
Foster and Coker are deep. Coker will take it in the end zone. And Morelli at the... well, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, just look at the touchdowns. A beautiful play by Morelli, and he finally got Corliss involved. Here's the tight end, Corliss. He's going to run a little corner route, but watch Morelli do a nice job of avoiding the pressure of Marvin Mitchell. This is a quarterback who's got his focus and his poise. He knows pressure's coming. He hangs in there, and he throws a beautiful touch pass to the back corner to his tight end, Andrew Corliss. The last two throws by Morelli, can't throw him any better than that.
Interesting, when they first came down here to get ready for this bowl game, he came out at a press conference, said he was tired of people calling him an idiot in some nasty emails he was getting. They're probably applauding for him today, same guys. LaMarcus Coker is in as the running back. He'll get the screen pass. This guy's dangerous. LaMarcus Coker drives his way out to the 38-yard line. Tony Davis made the tackle. Let's check in with Reese.
I would say so. All right, Mike, coming up on the Smith-Barney halftime report, we will look ahead to the granddaddy of them all, the Rose Bowl game presented by Citi this afternoon between USC and Michigan. Cotton Bowl underway, a little back and forth going on between Auburn and Nebraska. And is this finally the day for Bob Knight to pass Dean Smith on the all-time victories list? Get you up to date on all of that. Lou Holtz and Mark May will join me, and Happy New Year to you guys.
Thank you, Reese. Same to you. What a beautiful day here in Tampa. It's cleared up a little bit. Ainge under pressure. Shaw came from his left end spot, and Tim Shaw picks up his 7th sack of the year.
Well, Tim Shaw is an undersized defensive end, 6'1", 237 pounds. He was a linebacker last year. Here he is. He plays in a stand-up position. He's going to beat the right tackle, Eric Young, on this play. Little inside move, spins off of him and gets to the quarterback, but he moved to defensive end. They graduated 2 outstanding ends last year in Matthew Rice and Tom Bahali, who's with the Kansas City Chiefs right now, and they moved Shaw from linebacker to end.
Pressure coming. Ainge fakes one way, then goes back the other, and Penn State had them both covered.
Well, they ran a screen on the first down, and they had a nice play. That's fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, or how does that go? How's it go? Shame on you.
Fool me twice, shame on you. Yeah. But they didn't fool them at all.
No, that time they didn't fool them.
They faked it one way. They weren't going to go there, but it was covered anyway. Then they go back the other way, and that was covered even better. And Penn State's defense starting to dominate a little bit here. Now it's 3rd and 23. Not too many play calls for this.
You got to be smart with the ball if you're Eric Ainge.
Fakes the draw, has time.
Nice
Throws
throw.
to Cottom, his big
Nice
tight
throw.
end, and Cottom got the first down.
Add that play call to your chart.
Yes, sir.
23.
Like that one.
It all starts with protection. Penn State only goes with a 3-man rush. Again, they're a zone defense, so you got to find holes and open windows in the zone. Good protection. He waits for Cottom to clear Dan Connor, number 40, and then Cottom does a nice job of turning up field and getting the extra yardage.
Whoever the defensive back was just got thrown out of the way for that extra 4 or 5 yards and the first down. And you would expect that from a guy who's 260 and 6'8".
Yep.
Timeout. Penn State. First charge, timeout of the half.
Welcome back to Raymond James Stadium in Tampa. And here is today's Aflac trivia question. Who was the president of the United States when Joe Paterno came to Penn State as an assistant coach from Brown in 1950? We will have an answer as well as a couple of little fun facts for you about what life may have been like in 1950.
57 years at Penn State.
Remarkable. Ainge with all day to throw will go underneath.
This is good quarterbacking by Eric Ainge. I mean, Penn State's going to keep everything in front right now. They're not going to give up an easy throw down the field. And so they're going to force Eric Ainge to kind of pick and choose. And that's what he's doing right now. Timeout by Tennessee. Now, Penn State is rushing 3 and dropping 8. And they're going to cover everything deep if they can. So they're going to force the underneath throw. Ainge looks deep and then drops it off short. And again, in a throw like that, if Briscoe breaks a tackle, it turns into a bigger game. But the quarterback has to be smart, look downfield, look deep, and then come to short. If you don't get it down the field, dump it underneath and get what you can.
12 out of 14 for Eric Ainge so far. The answer to our Aflac trivia question, who was the president of the United States when Joe Paterno came to Penn State as an assistant coach? Harry S. Truman. I was going to guess John Adams before I saw 1950. It seems like he's been there that long. Joe Paterno, such a legend in college football. He and his brother George. Rip Engel was the man who was his mentor both at Brown and at Penn State. And he became the head man in 1966. Really, his appearance hasn't changed in the last 25, 30 years. He looks like the same guy.
Finally showing a little gray in his hair. You know, for the longest time, everybody thought he colored his hair. You know, he's adamantly denied that. But I think he's finally starting to show a little salt and pepper up there.
Tennessee on second and short. Draw play. Penn State has not tackled well in several areas. The draw play to Coker, and he's gone 42 yards.
Well, Sean Lee, for some reason, was right there in the backfield. It looked like a loss of yardage play, and Coker was easily able to just stiff arm him out of the way. An outstanding run by LaMarcus Coker. Sean Lee, an outstanding young linebacker for Penn State, just could not make the play.
And the first time Coker has had a chance to carry the ball from scrimmage today. They tried to throw a screen to him earlier, but he's got that burst.
Yes, he does. And David Cutcliffe said he's fast again. You know, he was bothered by a knee injury. He missed a couple games. It's the fastest he's been since before his injury, and he showed it on that play.
And that was the second time in the first half of the game that Sean Lee looked very tentative, trying to make a tackle, and that one really cost him. And then Colquitt, or rather Wilhoit, gets the extra point. We're tied at 10.
Here's Sean Lee in a down position outside linebacker. He's going to come in right to the backfield, and he has a clear shot on LaMarcus Coker. But watch Coker stiff arm him with his right arm, and then he shows the speed to the outside. Dan Connor gets blocked by the tight end, Chris Brown, and Coker's speed does the rest. But this went from a loss of yardage play to a huge game-tying touchdown for Tennessee.
So Penn State gets the touchdown, but then Tennessee has the answer and responds immediately in the 2-minute drill, and they've tied it up with 1:15 to go.
Again, one of the things when we talk to both defensive coordinators, one of their greatest concerns after the layoff, how will we tackle? you know, defenses, you're used to keeping them on the edge, and playing week to week, you usually are better. When you take a long layoff and you don't do a lot of live tackling, how does it come back in a game? And both teams have shown some tendencies to miss tackles in this first half.
And Penn State had done so well against the rush, 12 for 20 until that one. But that's the explosive quality of that Tennessee offense we told you about. Kinlaw and Wallace are deep. A.J. Wallace from the 1. Takes a hit, turns it upfield, gets to the 22. Big shot by Andre Mathis.
Well, Anthony Morelli so far in this first half has played better than he's played at the end of the year. Working the sidelines. Deon Butler, his favorite receiver. They've moved him out of the pocket some, given him different launch points to throw the football, and he has been extremely accurate and decisive in this first half. Both quarterbacks, Anthony Morelli and Eric Ainge, have looked very sharp in the first half of play here.
Now, are we in the don't do anything silly zone at this
absolutely.
point?
Absolutely.
Hunt.
There's nothing silly about giving it to 26.
No, that's as good as play call as any. And Rico McCoy, who was in there for the injured Gerard Mayo at linebacker. Mayo, an exceptional talent at that weak side, has been bothered by an injury.
How important was that touchdown for Tennessee? The first touchdown that Penn State's defense has given up in the last 22 quarters. That was quite a number they were working on, and LaMarcus Coker broke through.
Penn State with a timeout with 37 seconds to go. They'll have one left. Tennessee got off to a great start this year. They finished 9-3, second in the SEC East, but they were 7-1 until the ankle injury to Eric Ainge, and that really handicapped them. They had a couple of huge games coming up. He was hurt late in the game against South Carolina. They lost their next two, basically because of that injury. And all three losses, Florida, LSU, and Arkansas, to teams in the BCS top 12, and arguably three of the best 6 teams in the country.
Yeah. And Eric Ainge was really on a roll before he got hurt. He played extremely well. We were at the South Carolina game. He was 21 of 29, 254 yards, 2 touchdowns. Played well against Georgia the week before that, and then he got hurt late in that South Carolina game. He tried to start the LSU game, was not effective. They had to take him out. Jonathan Crompton, the young quarterback, a very talented redshirt freshman, had to come in and play against the best defense in the country, and then go to Fayetteville and play. Yeah.
And Eric said the ankle's still bothering him because it is so weak. It's more weak than sore. Hunt again gets it out to the 35. See if Penn State will burn another timeout. They will. And that will be a first down. Did they use a timeout? They did not. It was just with the first down. Now the clock under the new rules will wind after they move the sticks. And Morelli now looking to throw with a blitz coming up the middle. Is that caught? Norwood with a dive. And they're going to say incomplete.
I did think it hit the ground. Now there is a flag down. Back by the pocket, roughing the passer on Tennessee.
It's huge.
Yep, it'll be 15 yards.
From the previous line of scrimmage, automatic, first down.
Pressure was coming right up the middle, and now they've got a chance to do something from midfield.
Well, Morelli has the kind of arm that he can get the ball to the end zone. They don't have to throw to the end zone right now with 20 seconds and a timeout left, but they are definitely in a position where they can threaten the end zone.
Well, now they've announced the previous play is under review, not the roughing, the catch.
The ball was thrown low. The pressure from McBride kind of took out the legs of Morelli. The question, it hit the ground. That was a good call on the field. That ball bounced up into Norwood's hands. Ball's gone. I think the only reason it wasn't a vicious hit by McBride, it's just the ball was gone.
It wasn't even a hit.
No call, yeah. Definitely could have been a no call there.
They could have easily let that one go. I mean, you can't go for a guy's knees anymore. You can't go head-to-head contact. but McBride didn't try to wrap him up or spin him down. He didn't try to drive him or twist an ankle or anything. He just touched him, and that's you got to be able to touch a guy, I think.
Well, in the NFL, you know, they're very protective of the quarterbacks. I mean, and they're not the same way in college football, and that one was probably one they could have let go because, as you mentioned, McBride did kind of pull off at the end.
That's even an iffy NFL call, as protective as they've got. Still looking at the potential that was a catch. Norwood was impressive because he made up a lot of ground to get to even having a shot at that ball.
Remember, it was ruled incomplete on the field, so it would have to be inconclusive evidence to change the call, and that ball looks like it bounced clearly up into his chest.
And Penn State, right up the line of scrimmage, they're having no anticipation that call would be reviewed or overturned, rather.
I don't know. That last look at it made it look like it bounced off his hand, but I don't know. Hard to overturn that call.
Well, it's got to be indisputable video evidence to overturn the call on the field.
The play is confirmed. There was an incomplete pass. So the ball came back to the previous spot. Roughing the passer, first down.
It would have to be so clear to make you really change your mind, and that wasn't clear, even if it may have been a catch.
Well, the bottom line for Penn State now, 20 seconds left in the half with one timeout. So the whole field is available to him right now. The key thing for Morelli, not taking a sack.
Four-man rush. Pressure is coming. Runs away from it. And throws to the sideline, incomplete. Derek Williams could have made that catch. Pretty good throw by Morelli under pressure.
Second down, 10. I think Derek Williams lost his footing trying to come back to the football a little bit and was falling down as he attempted to make the catch. Still time with 14 seconds to make another throw like that, again, to anywhere on the field with the timeout. And then maybe one shot to the end zone, or if they get a big play here, a chance for a Kelly field goal attempt.
Kelly's longest field goal, 49 yards. They would need to reach the 32 to give him a shot at that one. Morelli with time, throws underneath, and Norwood will make the catch and get out of bounds with 9 seconds left. So they still have time for another play, and they're getting very close to Kelly's range. He's 1 for 2 today, missed from 45.
When coming into the game, he was 12 for 22 from anything outside of 30 yards. So not a lot of range this season for Kevin Kelly. He's 1 of 2 in attempts of that range so far in the ballgame today.
This has got to be a quick pattern and call the timeout down the sideline, incomplete. Dion Butler had a shot at it.
Well, this was supposed to be a quick throw, but Tennessee rolled to a cover 2. A corner came up on Butler, and so the soft part of that defense is right in between the corner and safety, and Butler not able to come down with the throw.
Tell you what, Morelli put that one right on the money again. This will be a 54-yard try, would be a career long for Kevin Kelly. 1 out of 2 today.
I'd go for the block if I'm Tennessee. A long kick, low kick, go for the block.
Boy, pretty close.
Yep, worth the effort.
Pretty close, but he missed from 54 as time expired. Good first half between Joe Paterno's Nittany Lions and the Volunteers of Tennessee, and we end the first half of the Outback Bowl at 10-10. Let's go to Holly.
Coach, the offense a little slow to get clicking in the first quarter. How much of that was due to the new receivers in different roles?
That didn't have anything to do with it. We just haven't played very well. Really, as a football team, we're fortunate to be right where we are, tied, and almost like a new ball game. Hopefully, we'll play a lot better in the second half.
Your running game came alive on that last drive. What was different on that drive?
Good back, made a guy miss and outran some people. There was some good blocking up front. We left one guy scot-free, and he made him miss. But you know, we're not playing with the energy right now I think we should, and that's what we're going to talk about here.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Our halftime score, Tennessee 10, Penn State 10. Let's join Reese Davis in the studio. He has the Smith Barney halftime report. especially that one long drive. It was a better first half for them.
Well, I think so. I think it probably was. Tennessee gets the ball to start the second half. And if I'm either team, the biggest concerns I have, if I'm Tennessee, my biggest concern is we've got to do a better job of tackling Tony Hunt, because if we let him keep going, he's going to wear us down in the second half. If I'm Penn State, my biggest concern is my kicker, Kevin Kelly, was 1 for 3 in that first half. A close ball game. If it gets down to a kick, will he have the confidence to knock one through? So that's my biggest concern for both teams. Both quarterbacks, I think, Eric Ainge, Anthony Morelli, played very, very strongly in the first half.
You would expect it from Ainge, but maybe not from Morelli. And I thought Morelli, his touch passes were impeccable. He threw the ball beautifully.
Threw for more yardage. Penn State's defense is forcing Eric Ainge to throw underneath a little bit more, but he's been very patient and taking what the defense gives him. But Anthony Morelli had a very strong first half.
Finally, at the end of the half, Tennessee got its running game going, and that's because LaMarcus Coker came in. He is obviously the most dangerous back they have.
He is. He's got the speed. He's got the burst. And the other thing Tennessee did a nice job of is scheming and formationing and running away from Jay Alford. Most all of Tennessee's running success has been running to their left, which is opposite of the side of Jay Alford, number 13 for Penn State. So they've taken advantage of the weakness in that defensive front.
Let's take a look at our first half game track. Joe Paterno with that leg injury, decided because of the wetness of the field to coach from the coach's box today instead of the sideline. Morelli, 10 out of 17. Could have been better, had a couple of drops on what would have been big plays. Ainge, 12 out of 14, only 127 yards, but he's been very effective as well, as you would expect. Somebody who has had the kind of success that he has had this year in the Southeastern Conference. Of course, the coaches go down to the locker room at half, but Joe, with that leg injury, you would expect, isn't going to be sprinting to the press box elevator and then down, and you have to literally you run into the locker room, then you run back up. He's not ready to do that yet.
And he's right next door to us, and I did pop my head in there and just ask him what he thought of the first half, and he just felt like, both teams played very strong. It's a matter of who plays the best for the next 30 minutes. He was concerned about how they could get Jay Alford back involved in stopping the Tennessee run. They've got to do some stunts or do some things because Tennessee has formationed away from him in the running game.
And really, the two All-American linebackers haven't been that much of a factor for Penn State so far.
The linebacker that got talked about the most was the other one, Sean Lee, in that last touchdown by Coker.
Check in with Holly Rowe. Holly, what do you have?
Well, guys, like you said, Joe Paterno did not come down to the locker room at halftime. So Tom Bradley took the defense. Galen Hall and Jay Paterno took the offense. I talked to Tom Bradley out here on the field. I asked him why Tennessee got some of that momentum in the second quarter. He said, we've got to change what our defense is playing against some of their looks. Overall, though, he was pleased with the defensive effort. They are going to change up a few things here in the second half.
All right, Holly, thanks so much. The drive that Penn State had, the 92-yarder, I think was probably the biggest factor in this first half because they have not had drives of that length very often or that success on offense, and they certainly did on this one. High and short, fair catch signal made on the kickoff by Dorian Davis, a linebacker. And Tennessee with good field position to start. Here are the first half stats. Penn State with a big edge in total yards, 248 to 187. Maybe the biggest thing for Penn State, Todd, the time of possession to keep Tennessee's offense off the field.
But it is a tie score, so Tennessee did what they needed to do when they had the ball. That's 60 yards of rushing, offset by the fact that 42 came on Coker's touchdown run.
Coker runs right into Sean Lee. Didn't get away from him that time.
Marcus Coker on the right.
Thought it was interesting how Deon Butler introduced those linebackers. Sean Paul Dan, or how did he say that?
Yeah, I think it was Paul Dan Sean. I'm not sure.
One of those things. But the fact that all three of them, they play so well together. Got the senior Puslesny, the junior Connor, and the sophomore Sean Lee. Really play well in that secondary.
And they are 1, 2, and 3 in tackles on Penn State's team. Swing! takes a shot and can't hold the ball. It's the safety, Anthony Scarrato, who had him lined up in his sights, and Swain made the catch, and Scarrato just unloaded.
And this was the first time that Eric Ainge tried to throw the ball deep down the field to one of his big play receivers. And he had Swain. But the ball hung in the air, and Scarrato timed it perfectly and took the perfect angle to the receiver, Swain.
And Swain is still feeling it. Scarrato led the Big Ten in interceptions. Probably had more picks than hits like this. Oh.
And that went from big play Tennessee to big play Penn State in a heartbeat.
Boy, he got him.
Yep.
That's for sure.
Jason
Just cleaned him out.
Came into the game bothered by an ankle that has bothered him all season. Out here playing in pain, and a clean shot by Scarrato, but
yes, it was
a powerful shot as well.
As you mentioned, Swain playing on a bad ankle most of the year. Lost 13 pounds from last year to make him more flexible and quicker. It's really paid off. He had 42 catches during the regular season. Hopefully he'll be up when we come back. Jason Swain able to leave the field under his own power after that big hit from Scarrato. So now Swain and Brett Smith, who was suspended, two of their top three receivers on the sideline.
Casey Woods, number 85, is in the ball game right here for Tennessee, now a backup wide receiver.
Blitz coming. Ainge got drilled as he threw. Completes it to Meacham, the only starter that was left, and Ainge hung in there pretty well against pressure.
Penn State did a lot of three-man rush at the end of that first half. This time they bring an extra defender. Dan Connors, the guy coming unblocked, but Ainge does a great job of hanging in there to the last minute and finding Meacham in the hole of the zone. Again, this is not a man-to-man pass defense of Penn State. Primarily zone, even when they bring linebacker pressure.
Ainge changing the play. Quick hitch to Meacham. He'll get a couple out of this, and Connor had him horse-collared. Let's go to Holly.
Guys, when Jason Swain came to the sideline after that hard hit, they examined his rib cage and his sternum. Everywhere they pressed, he said, "No, I'm fine, I'm fine." Then they took out a stethoscope and listened to his back, what they're actually listening for is his lungs, to make sure there's no blockage of his breathing, that it sounds good and clear. He kept saying, "Guys, I'm fine." He kept getting off the bench. They had to keep yanking him back so that he would not go in there, guys. He's ready to get back in there.
Holly, it's mandatory that you do an inventory of body parts after you take a shot like that. See if all the teeth are still there. Coker. Not this time. Posluszny, who has not had a big impact game, that time came through and stoned him. He has 108 tackles during the regular season. Two-time Bednarik Award winner.
See, he's gotten much more comfortable as the year has gone on playing inside. You just see him fit him up. Perfect form tackle, wraps the arms. He played outside linebacker last year. He was inside about 50% of the time, but that was mostly in nickel. This year he moved inside, and it took him about a half a year to get used to the new traffic patterns in there. It's a lot different than playing on the outside.
It shows how much a team guy you are. Be a first-team All-American and being willing to shift positions. Ainge with plenty of time, throws. Swain makes the catch at the 49-yard line.
How about the guts of Swain? He just got knocked out of the game going across the middle and catching one. Now he comes right back in, going across the middle fearlessly, and makes the big catch for the first down. Zone defense, find the hole, sit in that hole. Knows he's going to get hit by Sean Lee. No hesitation at all by Jason Swain. And again, Eric Ainge doing a beautiful job of just waiting, just being patient and saying, okay, you're going to play zone. You're not going to let me throw it down the field. I'll pick you apart if you let me.
Meacham got away with a push. That looked like offensive interference, if nothing else. Justin King got pushed about twice.
Yep.
and turned around, and Meacham then couldn't hold the ball.
Justin King is a gifted athlete, number one. He's a great sprinter, runs a sub 4.3, and he says, you know, I'm not big enough to go out and try to out-physical Robert Meacham. I'm just going to try to out-athlete him, try to get in his hip and run with him and be a better athlete.
Pass interference on the offense. Number 3, 15-yard penalty from the previous line of scrimmage. Replay first down.
Second time in the second half now that Tennessee has tried to attack down the field. The first was the big hit on Swain. This time a pass interference on Meacham. Maybe David Cutcliffe has said, you know what, we got to try to attack. Now we've got to try to take some shots down the field and see if they can cover us.
You know, you can see why the official called it, because he moved his arm, but you see the other angle, he really didn't touch him. And Ainge, when you're a quarterback and you're taking those shots, Todd, you want to see the guy catch the ball at the end of it.
Yep. Those hits don't hurt nearly as much when you see a catch on the other end, I can guarantee you.
So 1st and 25 after the interference call against Tennessee. Screen! Pressure on Ainge, screen to Coker. And Coker is buried. Puzdluzny read it perfectly and was right there.
Well, again, Puzdluzny in the middle, reads the play, knows what he's doing on the screen. Here he is right here. Watch how quickly he reacts to the screen pass to Coker. The defensive linemen, they don't read it. They're rushing, hey, I'm going to get a sack. No, screen pass and Puzdluzny, and when he gets there, he does not miss tackles. I mean, he finishes the play.
He moved the instant the offensive lineman broke away toward the screen side of the play. Now it's 2nd and 28. Coker got away from one tackle, not another. Connor chased him out of bounds along with Tim Shaw.
Forced out of bounds by number 20.
Time now to get to know everybody's All-American a little bit better.
I'm Paul Puzdluzny from Aliquippa, Pennsylvania. A lot of people know about my minor knee injury last year, but what most people don't is when I was a little kid, I broke my arm. I think I was in 1st or 2nd grade. I was just sitting at the house. I was at the dinner table with my family. I got a big family of 7 people, so it was kind of cramped. And you know, I just wanted to leave the table real quick, so I just tried to get on the seat and then jump and to get out of my seat. But I landed on my arm and cracked it, and so that's how I broke my arm when I was little.
Only a linebacker would think it's funny when you break your arm, you know?
Especially if you break it at dinner. Swain won't pick up much on the 3rd and 28. Davis and Scarrato make the tackle. Here's Holly Rowe.
Well, guys, he is just one of the most conscientious players they've ever had at Penn State, if not the most. And Coach Tom Bradley told us that he's so conscientious. Joe Paterno had what's called the haircut meeting. It's where the guys get together and Joe yells at everybody, says, get your haircut. So Paul shows up the next day with his haircut, even though it was already short. They said, Paul, he wasn't talking to you. He said, I couldn't take any chances. Coaches said do it, so I did.
Yeah, I got that talk a lot when I was at Penn State. The hair coming out of the back of the helmet was not big with Coach.
I don't know how you had that mustache. Great bounce for Tennessee. The ball will die inside the 7-yard line.
Second time Colquitt has had a soft bounce at the end of a punt.
49-yard kick for Britton Colquitt, who led the Southeastern Conference. You got to like the hair. You got to question the mustache. All-American 1982 Todd Blackledge. Reese, the Hogs have been on the move all year long on offense, especially since McFadden got healthy. Second time Penn State backed up deep in its own territory. First half, they went 92 yards on a drive. This one would be 93 if they could score. And here's Hunt. Gets the first 3 out to the 10-yard line.
Marvin Mitchell in on that tackle, has had an outstanding season. The middle linebacker, senior, one of the captains, has had an injury-plagued career, and this year played the whole season without missing any time and just had the best season by far of his Tennessee career. He's been a great leader for John Chavis's defense as well.
Hunt again trying to pick his way. Mitchell again wrapped him up and threw him down at the 12.
There's a couple Virginia guys going at each other. Marvin Mitchell from Norfolk, Virginia. Lake Taylor High School. Tony Hunt from Alexandria, Virginia. Played at T.C. Williams High School, the school made famous by the movie Remember the Titans, the 1971 national state champions in the state of Virginia.
Tony Hunt just passed Curtis Enos for third all-time at Penn State. Pass underneath complete. That'll be enough for a first down, and another good catch by Derek Williams. Antoine Stewart made the tackle, but not in time to prevent the first down for the Nittany Lions.
A nice job by Derek Williams using his body to shield the defender. Antoine Stewart comes back to the football. Because he came back to the ball, that didn't allow Stewart to get a hand in there and stop the play.
Really impressed today by Morelli. I think people would tell you this may be the best game he's played all year long.
Well, and it's a credit to Jay Paterno, his position coach, Galen Hall, and the work that they did in this month between the end of the season and today's ball game.
Hunt, back to old reliable. Mitchell is there again on the tackle, one of three Tennessee white and orange jerseys to get there.
This is where Anthony Morelli has been effective so far in the ball game. 11 of 18, no interceptions. Everything's been outside. Only one throw to the middle of the field. And Joe Paterno at halftime, that was one of the other things he said. He said, we need to get some passes into the middle a little bit. Maybe some underneath throws to crossing wide receivers or get the tight end Corliss involved in the offense. You see a lot of two safety look for Tennessee, trying to take those receivers away here.
Biggest plays they've had throwing the ball today has been little fades to Butler. Hit him over 30 yards twice. Big hit on the quarterback, Morelli. He's about 3rd and 3. Mitchell and Earl made the tackle, or Ryan Carl.
But another good decision by Anthony Morelli. Rather than scrambling around and forcing a throw, he makes a quick decision to run. He gets outside the pocket, he tucks it, he gets what he can, and he brings up a third in a very manageable situation. Again, that's a play maybe earlier in the season Anthony Morelli would have tried to force a throw somewhere.
3rd down and 3. Morelli out of the shotgun. Protection breaks down. He scrambles, throws, and incomplete. Stewart, nice play.
Yeah. Good job by Morelli avoiding the pressure. Tough throw, throwing back across his body, and Stewart with a nice play on the back end.
Xavier Mitchell with pressure.
Just a 4-man rush by Tennessee, but Mitchell with a nice move inside, and Stewart with a nice play.
Boy, Norwood was open, too. Morelli had just a little more time to be able to lead him. That's a big play. Capanos to punt. Hefney waits back at his own 35-yard line.
They got to cover this kick. Remember, Hefney, a 65-yarder against South Carolina, a couple 40-yarders against Alabama.
Returnable kick. But good coverage by Penn State. They get down and hold him with a 3-yard return. Joe Paterno and Bob Knight, two of the legends in college athletics. When we come back, we'll tell you how it almost came to be that they coached at the same university.
Brought to you by Pontiac. Vote for the Pontiac Game-Changing Performance of the Year at ESPN.com. Keyword Pontiac. A $100,000 scholarship is on the line. McDonald's. And the terrifying thriller, The Hitcher, from the producers of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. In theaters everywhere January 19th.
6:47 on the third quarter clock from Tampa, Florida. You're watching the Outback Bowl on ESPN. Tennessee and Penn State tied at 10. Joe Paterno coaching from the box today instead of the sideline since he was named the head coach. 95 Division 1A football coaching change.
It averages out to about 6 per school, too.
Yeah. Coker trying to use that speed, chased down from behind. Pusluzny says, I got some speed for you from the middle linebacker spot.
Yeah, there were some people that wondered whether Pusluzny was back from the knee injury, whether he still had the same speed. I think his speed is fine. I think the thing that changed about halfway through is he just got more comfortable playing inside. He got used to the reads and the angles and the blocks, and he's playing a little more relentless and full speed now than he did earlier. And I don't think that knee injury, he came back 100% from that.
Pretty good at 240 chasing down a guy like Coker who can fly and has shown you that he can do that. Penn State defense starting to get some more negative yardage plays, and the positive yardage plays have been cut down. Complete pass to Swain. Let's go to Holly Rowe.
Well, guys, what people may not realize is it was almost a done deal that Joe Paterno and Bob Knight were both coaching at Penn State. Back in the late 60s, Joe Paterno was an assistant coach when the athletic director came to him and said, hey, I'm looking to hire a new basketball coach. Tell me what you know about this young kid at Army, Bob Knight. I'm looking at him and Johnny Bach. More after the play.
All right, Holly, 3rd and 10 for Tennessee. This has become a field position game. Blitz coming, they pick it up.
Nice job by Ainge again. Just
nice
waiting.
Catch by Swain.
Yeah, and Ainge is doing a nice job. First of all, they're protecting him. They're keeping the blue shirts off of him. He's had the 1 sack, and that's it. And then he's just doing a nice job of just reading. Okay, where's the opening? If they take this away, they take this away. What are they leaving me? And he's finding the open guy. In this case, it was Jason Swain across the middle.
And that offensive line doing a better job on Alford. He hasn't been a factor lately. And Swain now with 6 catches. First down at midfield. Ainge, time again. Finally some pressure. Incomplete, out of bounds.
Well, wait a minute. One guy's saying catch, one guy's saying incomplete, and they're overruling it with the catch. And what a throw by Ainge off his back foot under duress.
Initially ruled incomplete, then they said Briscoe got it in bounds. And look at Tennessee hustling to the line of scrimmage. You want to snap this ball. Oh,
well, the question to me is, did he have the ball?
I don't think he did.
Possession of the football.
I don't think so.
Left foot is in, but does he have complete possession?
And you see the ball bobbled after he came out.
Yeah.
I think that's an incomplete pass.
He got the left foot in, but did he have possession of the football? That's the question here.
Standing, fighting, profanity, smoking and throwing objects or objection or arrest.
Now, it was ruled a catch, so it has to be indisputable evidence to overturn the call on the field, which was a good catch.
It doesn't really matter if the ball is up against his shoulder if he's controlling. It can be anywhere.
Right.
The question is, the ball was bobbled right after he went out of bounds. If they look at it and say he had possession while he was in bounds, it's a catch, and they're not going to turn it over.
Well, regardless of how they ruled this, that was a remarkable throw by Eric Ainge because he was under pressure and he threw it off his back foot in the only place that Briscoe would have a chance to make the catch. That was a spectacular throw.
Now, of course, we have the benefit of the slow motion replay. Take a look at it in real speed and show you why one official thought it was a catch and another one didn't. Oh, that's tough.
Yes, it is.
I mean, that is right at the line. And here's what the official is looking at. He's got to check whether the ball is caught and whether the feet are in bounds. That's usually a difference in about 5 feet. He's got to be looking at 2 things at once, and sometimes you can't see them.
Well, you do have 2 eyes. If you could make one go up and one go down,
I can't. Can you do that?
No, I can't either.
You grew that mustache. Maybe you can make your eyes go in different directions. I can't help it.
After review, there's indisputable video evidence that the receiver had 1 foot in, but he was not controlling the ball. It's an incomplete pass. 2nd down at the previous spot.
I honestly couldn't quarrel with the call no matter which way they went.
Either way. I mean, he definitely did a great job of getting his left foot in. Wow. But again, what a throw by Eric Ainge. Doesn't count in the stats now as a completion, but it was a beautiful throw.
Would have been a huge play as far as field position as well. It would have put them immediately in scoring territory. Haynes goes to the shotgun. Penn State showing a front four, and that's it. Again, good protection. The pass picked off by Scarrato. The man who led the Big Ten in interceptions with 5 gets a huge one here at the Outback Bowl. And he saw that one away and broke way away and broke on the pattern.
Well, what Eric Ainge was trying to do was he was trying to fool Puslesny or Connor, which he did, but he didn't fool the safety. What? He's going to try to fool this linebacker by looking this way. The only problem is Scarrato, the safety, is going to read Eric Ainge the whole way. Watch Eric Ainge look to his left and pump to get the linebacker out of the way, which he did, but the safety was right on the play. Scarrato coming up with a big interception. And for Scarrato, his 6th interception of the season. Well played by the free safety. He's made a couple big-time plays in this ball game already. The second turnover in the game now for Tennessee.
Direct snap to Williams.
He was going to throw that one too.
Yes, he was.
Which was, again, I think you've got to have that option.
Well, you said he can throw. He's only thrown once all year.
But I've seen him throw. He can definitely throw it. And Eric Ainge, first interception, his last 137 pass attempts. And he moved one guy, but he didn't move the other guy. For Penn State, this is not a defense that had a bunch of interceptions during the season, only their 13th interception on the year.
And that guy had 6 of them.
Timeout, Penn State.
Morelli didn't like what he saw either offensively or defensively. Has to burn one with 3:38 to go, third quarter. Last thing you want as a coach is to have those things drag on forever. It distracts from what you're really trying to do this year. Penn State facing a 2nd and 7. Huge possession. Morelli guns that one. Sideline catch. Flag is down as well. Butler made the grab, came back, and Tennessee trying to indicate it was offensive interference.
Well, we had one of those go against Meacham, number 3 in the white. Do we have one on number 3 in the blue?
Pass interference on the offense.
Yes, we do.
Number 3, 15-yard penalty from the previous line of scrimmage. Replays.
And here's Deon Butler again, a former corner, gets right up on him, and there's the left hand. Not a huge push, but definitely had his hand on it. Well, both of those were kind of shaky.
Yeah, they really were.
Offensive pass interference penalties.
I agree with you, Coach. I think both teams got the short end of an offensive interference. So, again, it's like the suspended players. That's even.
And 22 now.
Morelli under a lot of pressure gets this one out to Williams. Williams across midfield to the Tennessee 48-yard line. Marvin Mitchell, the middle linebacker, makes the tackle. They'll be about 12 yards shy, bringing up a big third down. Ryan Carl applying pressure.
Again, I'm so impressed. I mean, Eric Ainge, obviously the interception is one he wish he had back, but has played the way he's played all year when he's healthy. This is not necessarily the way Anthony Morelli has played all year. He looks poised, he looks comfortable, he looks decisive. He's got to do all that here on this big third down and 12 play for Penn State.
It's a little coming out party, perhaps, for Morelli, and would give you a lot of good feelings toward next year. Blitz coming. Throws that one off his back foot. Somehow got it to Williams. Did he stay in bounds? He did. That was a hope and a prayer there, Todd.
There was a little bit more luck involved than skill on that one. Morelli knows pressure's coming, steps a little bit. I don't know if he's throwing this away or not, but Derek Williams did a great job of coming back to the football. And Morelli got away with...
yes, he did.
He got away with one there. That's not a high percentage throw. But a huge conversion on third down if he got in.
I don't know. Maybe his heel was on the line. In college football, you can be pushed out of bounds. It doesn't matter. In fact, if a defensive back wants to hit a guy around the waist, the catch.
Well, we had one that was ruled a catch that was overruled.
I think the heel's out of bounds, but I don't know if it's a good enough look.
You know what? I think he got his left foot inbounds, but I think his right heel may have been out of bounds. And the right foot touched before the left foot.
Yeah. Boy, they've had some close ones to call today. .240 to go third quarter.
Remember the last 10 returned because he did not have possession of the football. His foot was inbound, but he didn't possess the football. This is a case where Derek Williams clearly possessed the football, but was he inbounds when he came down?
If he's ruled inbounds, it's a first down. If not, it's a 4th and 12 from the Tennessee 48. So this is huge.
And unlike pro football, you can't be forced out. You have to get your foot down in bounds on your own. And if you get hit as you're going out of bounds in pro football, that can still be a catch. In
After review, there's indisputable video evidence that the receiver called the ball, but his first foot was out of bounds, incomplete.
Guys done a pretty good job.
Previous spots.
Not only a pretty good job of fishing, but a pretty good call of explaining everything.
Jerry McGinn, referee, and excellent job. And the right call. I mean, it was a great effort by Williams, but the first foot down was his right foot, and that was out of bounds. Now Kapanos will try to pin Tennessee deep inside the 10-yard line.
I think that last Morelli pass was one of those, oh no, nice throw.
Yeah. Don't ever do it again.
Yeah, exactly.
It is not third down. It is 4th down and 12 at the 48.
See if Jonathan Hefney puts his heels right on that 10-yard line. Look at him looking at the 10. He knows exactly where he's supposed to be on this punt return. If it goes over his head, let it go.
The greeting he got from Philip Fulmer the last time he backed up and caught it should remind him that he shouldn't do it again. He got roasted when he came to the sideline. Fair catch made just outside the 10, and at least Penn State has turned the field around on Tennessee. Let's check in with Holly.
Well, guys, let me just quickly get back to what if Bob Knight and Joe Paterno were both coaching at Penn State. It wasn't that far from happening. Back in the late 60s, Joe Paterno was an assistant coach. The athletic director at the time was trying to hire a basketball coach. He knew that Joe Paterno knew Bob Knight, the young up-and-coming coach at Army. He also knew Johnny Bach from Brooklyn. He said, who should I hire? Joe said, oh, don't put that on me. I can't make the call. So the athletic director called Pete Newell. Pete Newell said, he's going to be a heck of a young coach, but I don't think State College is ready for Bob Knight.
Could have been right.
Running to the left again. That's where Tennessee has found their success running the football. Jay Alford, you get him lined up on the right, and you run to the left. Steve Roach is in there, a senior, 6'1", 308 out of Martinsburg, West Virginia, trying to do his job, but it's different not having Ed Johnson, their normal starter, in there at the defensive tackle. Here's Roach right here, and that's where they've been running with success.
Texas Tech, by the way, continues to trail New Mexico by 1 in the second half. Foster again, huge hole this time. Pounds his way out near the 40-yard line. Nice block from Chris Brown, the tight end. It's a gain of 17.
Well, this play was designed to go in the same spot over the left side, but watch the vision of Foster. He sees that defense cave in. He sees a bad angle by the safety, Donnie Johnson, and he turns it into a big gain out the backside. Good vision by Arian Foster. See, if Tennessee can establish some success running the football, which they're starting to in this drive, then that will open up opportunities with play-action pass to get something big down the field with Eric Ainge.
Foster averaging 6.5 a clip. Coker had the big run in the ballgame, a 42-yard touchdown scamper. Clock winding down here in the third quarter. It will be 2nd and 6 as Tennessee has moved from its own 10 out near the 45-yard line. Ainge under pressure, throws underneath, nothing doing. Brown, the tight end, wrapped up in a hurry by Scarrato. Penn State has defended those little flares very well today.
Yeah, they're normally in the right spot. I mean, they're a defense that is well schooled. Again, they're almost all zone defense, so they've got to get to the right areas. But if you give a quarterback like Eric Ainge enough time, he'll find holes in your zone defense.
And Penn State has not been able to put a lot of pressure on it. 3rd and 4. 4-man rush. Underneath, complete, very close to a first down.
I think forward progress is going to give him the first down. Ball being marked right on the 50-yard line, which should be a first down, and it is. Little bunch formation. Swain coming out of the pack on a little crossing route. Does a nice job of catching it, knowing he's getting hit, and getting the first down for the Volunteers.
The yellow line is not official, but it's awfully close. This is going to be the end of the third quarter at the Outback Bowl in Tampa. Penn State 10 and Tennessee 10. Well, Reese, we're down in Dickie V territory. Shame he couldn't be with us today. He lives down here in this area.
At the 15.
Well, down to the fourth quarter.
Draw play. Foster.
Nice play by Shaw.
Yes, it was.
Tennessee has played extremely well down the stretch in the fourth quarter. The first 3 games they played in 2006, they were outscored by their opponents, 35-10. Last 9 games, you see the difference. They rallied for fourth quarter comebacks against Georgia, Alabama, South Carolina, and even their last game at home against Kentucky, they trailed in the fourth quarter. This game is tied, but Tennessee should have a lot of confidence in how they played in the fourth period.
2nd and long. Ainge again protected well. Throws short, incomplete. And it looked like Swain may have got tied up with the defender a little bit, couldn't turn around and come back. Speaking of comebacks, that's what Todd was talking about. Down by 3 against Georgia, and exploded and won by 18. Down by 7, won by 3. Down by 3, won by 7. Down by 2, won by 5. That gives you so much confidence going forward. You're down or tied in the fourth quarter. You say, come on, guys, we can do this.
And the good thing for Tennessee, their kicker, if it comes down to that, James Wilhoit, has been rock solid this season.
Counteracting as if he was coming on a blitz. And he backs off, and Penn State comes with 4. Pass underneath. That's going to be well shy of first down territory as Brown made the catch and was taken down by by Nolan McCready.
It's a big stop for the Penn State defense.
Just when it looks in the second half that one of these teams offensively got a little momentum going, something happens and they get shut down. I think it's a testament to how good these guys are on defense.
Well, and they both have been able to create some negative plays, whether it's by a defensive play or a penalty, and that puts the offenses back behind the chains, and both defenses have taken advantage of that.
Colquitt, who has been brilliant throughout his entire career, particularly has done well today, will kick again. Williams with a chance to return one. Takes it out to the 18-yard line. 8-yard return out of bounds. Contact after he was out of bounds. No flag. On Tuesday, both teams were welcomed to the Tampa Bay area and the Outback Bowl welcome dinner. Both teams combined to eat 5,000 pounds of food, 750 pounds of steak, 1,000 pounds of lobster and shrimp, 950 pounds of bloomin' onions. And we had a taste of the good stuff at halftime. Holy cow, they brought us a plate up here.
That was like a meat lover's delight. Ribs, chicken, and steak.
Yeah, I'm in. They'll mark it at the 20 for the Nittany Lions. Tony Hunt, the go-to guy, lunges forward to the 25. Well, Penn State would just love to have one of those patented drives right now. DeMonte Bolden made the tackle.
Tony Hunt over 100 yards. That's his 8th 100-yard game of the season. You know, Tennessee, this is the 4th back they've allowed to go over 100 yards this year. Again, this defense a notch down from years ago. Raphael Little, the last one to do it in the Kentucky game the final year. Now Tony Hunt over 100.
Hunt again, picking his way this time. Boy, after initial contact, he just drags people. It looks like he's got a 1-yard gain. It turns out to be 4. He's just tough. Check in with Holly.
Well, guys, the thing about Tony Hunt is Joe Paterno calls him one of the best all-around backs he's ever coached, and that's saying something. One thing, his durability. He started the last 29 games. He's great at the running part, 5.0 yards per carry. But, guys, he's got 87 career receptions coming into this game, and he's an outstanding blocker. It's all the little things that make him a complete back, and Joe Paterno says one of the best ever.
And that's what will make him an excellent pro back, is he is the complete back. Excellent pass protector as well.
Out of the eye this time. They fake it to Hunt. Morelli. Caught at the 36-yard line. What a catch, Terrell Golden. Only his 6th grab of the year. What a courageous play call.
Absolutely a courageous play call, and Anthony Morelli sells it with the great play fake to bring the safeties up. Watch the play fake and watch the safeties come to the line of scrimmage. This is the receiver who's going to go in motion and come out the backside, Terrell Golden, but watch the fake. Sell it, and then look it in all the way. Don't give it away. Let those safeties react, and then it's one-on-one out there, and Golden fights for the football.
There were 10 men near the line of scrimmage, one guy back. Did you see the linebackers just turn and run the other way? This one toward the sideline. Is it a catch? It is. And another first down. Quarles, the tight end, as Morelli strikes again.
Yeah, and they went play action again. You know, Tony Hunt gets the first 2 plays. Then on 3rd and short, they go play action, first down. They come back, play action again. Sometimes you run to set up the pass. Sometimes you pass to set up the run. Don't be surprised to see Tony Hunt ram it up in there on this play.
Got the left foot down.
Go take a look.
The red, by the way, in case you're wondering, on Tony Hunt's legs, comes from the dye on the field. There's a huge Outback Bowl painting in the center of the field, and that's why he has all that red.
Here's the last play to throw the Quarles.
Left foot down.
Definitely had the left foot down. The right foot close to the sideline. Was the left foot down first?
Yes. To me, that's a catch.
Well, we have had, this is the 3rd one of these, right? Right on the sideline.
Maybe more than that.
Question of feet, question of possession.
Now, does he have the ball? The foot, well, he bobbled it a little bit. Oh, geez, these have been so close.
Boy.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. At first, it looked like the foot was in, and then I don't know if he had control of the football.
Well, I'll say the same thing I've said before. Either way they call it, you got to go with them. I mean, it's almost impossible to take a stand on either side of it. These are like bang-bang plays at first base where you go, I don't know if he was safe or out. And if you're a college football fan, Bob Knight has just set the record for wins in college basketball. Our congratulations to him. Tremendous accomplishment as he did it at Army, Indiana, and now Texas Tech.
Just going back to that story, I mean, Bobby Knight and Joe Paterno have had a long friendship, and for about 5 years, Bobby Knight thought Joe Paterno really messed him up.
Reese Davis. Reese?
At the review, there's indisputable video evidence that the receiver's foot was down, but he was bobbling the ball. It's an incomplete pass. Second down at the previous spot.
Can't argue with it.
Nope, and these are good calls. I mean, this has been great use of the replay system.
And we'll check with Reese in a few seconds. Hang on.
Great use of the replay system. Every one that has been changed has been correct.
I'm sure they'd like to get some easy calls.
Those have been tough.
So Penn State has it at the 36. 2nd and 10 after the pass is ruled incomplete. Norwood can't get away. Nice defensive play by Morley. Bob Knight passes Dean Smith, 4 ahead of Adolph Rupp. And Bob Knight will be able to coach as long as he wants to.
Yep.
And there are 3 or 4 guys active right now who would have a legitimate shot at catching him. If he coaches 2 or 3 more years, they'll probably go 7 or 8. Morelli, little shovel pass to Hunt, lost the ball.
It should be an incomplete pass.
You're right, it's a shovel.
And it should be incomplete.
Marvin Mitchell made contact.
Marvin Mitchell has played a nice ball game for Tennessee. He read that all the way. Tennessee came with a little linebacker pressure. Ryan Carl coming on the pressure. So was Mitchell, and he was right there to disrupt that play.
Reason I said the ball came loose, I thought it was a catch.
Yeah. I didn't think he had it.
If it's a catch
look at this one
and then a fumble, it's a loose ball. If it's thrown forward, it's incomplete.
Here's Kevin Kelly again, 1 for 3. Don't know if kicking on that paint's a big factor, but I think the distance still is a factor right here for Kevin Kelly.
Just over 50.
Got hit. Got tipped.
When you're trying longer field goals, kickers have a tendency to drive it, and it comes out lower, and it looked like Morley, number 20, got a piece of it. So that's 1 out of 4 in field goals. But in his defense, one's 50 yards, one's 54. All right, thanks, Reese. And we've both been around Bob and understand what a great coach he is. A lot of people have a problem with him, but brilliant coach. Tennessee, after the missed field goal, the significance of the going for the field goal instead of punting, they get to start from the 33-yard line. That one's tipped and incomplete. Finally, some pressure on Ainge. He's been protected extremely well in this game.
I think you're exactly right about the starting on the 33, plus the Penn State kicker, Kevin Kelly, another shot to his confidence. 1 for 4 in the ball game, but Tennessee pretty much open to do anything in this part of the field. 2nd and 10.
Penn State showing blitz. They back out of it. Ainge with time. Touch pass. Wide open. The tight end, Chris Brown. I mean, wide open. And Brown inside the 15-yard line. Anthony Scarrato finally got there. But when he caught that ball, nobody within 10 yards of him, and it's a gain of 53.
Well, Penn State very rarely gets out of position, but here's Chris Brown, and he's going to slip out and down the sideline, and nobody is going to account for him. That bunch formation, they went with a couple of the receivers, but nobody picked up Chris Brown. Down the sideline, and Eric Ainge found him. Excellent play call and execution by the Volunteers.
He got to run free for a long time. Back to the ground with Foster. Ball's loose. Penn State has it. Tony Davis. Are you kidding?
And there's a beanbag on the field, which means it was a fumble.
86 yards and a touchdown. The Tennessee fans trying to say that ball was down, but I think they're just hoping against hope.
Well, the reviews have kind of gone reversal today. Foster has it cleanly. Dan Connors, the guy who's going to knock it out. Is he down before the ball comes out? That's the question. Dan Connor knocked it out. And Tony Davis scooped and scored, but was he down before the ball came out?
We'll try to get you another angle. This could be very interesting.
That's a fumble, I think. I don't think he was down before the ball came out. They give up the huge play, and then they come right back the next play and get it back and more.
Now, his upper body was obviously not on the ground when the ball was hit. Was his knee on the ground?
Right. Was a knee down before the ball came out. No, I don't think so. It was ruled a fumble on the field. It has to be indisputable evidence to change it.
I think it's out.
I think it's out too. And here's the interesting thing. If they would have called him down, it's a non-reviewable play.
Correct.
But because they called it a fumble, it is a reviewable play.
And they are training officials now to try to rule them fumbles so they can look at it again.
Well, what a bad break if it stands for Arian Foster, who has played an outstanding ball game for Tennessee. Has given them a huge boost running the football.
It looked like the ball came out just before his left knee was down. And these officials have had so many bang calls today.
Well, they have.
But as you pointed out, it was ruled a fumble on the field.
See, his knees are not down yet when that ball is out. The ball's out right now, and his knees are still off the ground. And that's what the officials are looking at right now.
Oh, that's great. That's a great shot, guys, right there. They're the best crew in the world.
Wow. Now, the good news for Tennessee is there's still 10 minutes left in the football game. I mean, this is not, we're not in the last minute of the game. So there's a lot of time for Eric Ainge.
Video confirms they're calling the field. Touchdown.
And Foster obviously upset.
But he's going to come right back on the field. And so is Eric Ainge. And the Penn State sideline needs to not celebrate too much and realize there's a lot of football left to be played here. They've got the lead, and they got the touchdown. But Eric Ainge will soon have the ball in his hands again.
That is a remarkable turnaround after they give up the huge play on the catch by the tight end. Chris Brown goes 53 yards. They're in chip shot field goal range, and then they fumble the football. Not only does Penn State recover the fumble, they run it back 88 yards for a score.
You don't become the 11th best scoring defensive team in the country without making some big plays. Joe Paterno just saw a huge one right there.
Welcome back to ESPN's presentation of the Outback Bowl. Mike Patrick along with Todd Blackledge and Holly Rowe from Tampa, Florida. Halftime today included a special moment when 5 Marines were recognized for their service to our nation. 2 from Penn State, 2 from Tennessee, another from the Tampa area, and additionally, Lieutenant Colonel Stuart Helgeson, who walked on with Penn State in the spring of '86. He dressed for the '87 Fiesta Bowl, won by Penn State over Miami for their 1986 National Championship game. Congratulations to all those gentlemen, and thank you for your tremendous service. Coker and Foster are deep. You don't think Foster wants to return one 100 yards? Won't get the chance. That thing is drilled 9 yards deep into the end zone, and Tennessee will have to start from its own 20.
Well, I was going to lose my spotter there for a minute. Todd Nicholas, a graduate of Warren Howland High School. That's where Tony Davis went to school, a former running back who just ran that one back for the go-ahead touchdown for Penn State. Former Howland Tigers. There's the turnovers For Penn State, coming into the ball game, they were -2, 72nd in the country. Tennessee had a better turnover margin, but Penn State winning that battle tonight. Ironically, Penn State had 4 turnovers against Michigan State in their last regular season game.
Coker, their most dangerous back is in there. Ainge out in the flat. And Penn State has defended the wide stuff really well. Tony Davis stood that one straight up.
And Alford is starting to pick up his action a little bit too. He was kind of quiet in the second quarter, a little bit of the third quarter. Last couple series, he's been getting more pressure, not sacks, but he's making life a little more uncomfortable for Eric Ainge.
And I think the bottom line is if you can make quarterbacks nervous, you don't have to tackle them all the time. Brown is in motion. Now he resets as a wide receiver. Ainge under pressure. Long, high throw incomplete to Meacham, who hasn't been a big factor today.
And you know what? And that brings up a good point, because I think that I don't think we've underestimated, but it's worth repeating. The absence of Brett Smith in this Tennessee offense is huge, because these 3 receivers, Swain, Meacham, and Brett Smith, that's what made them so difficult to defend, because you couldn't overload on any one guy. And Brett Smith, you're taking 39 receptions and almost 450 yards of yardage out of their offense for this ball game, and you're replacing him with a guy, Josh Briscoe, only 4 catches coming into today.
The numbers on Ainge. He faces a 3rd and 8. Pressure coming, Alford again, and now Shaw flag is down. Pass is incomplete. That's going to be a hold. They'll be able to turn it down because it will bring up 4th down and long. And finally, again, some more pressure on Ainge.
Yeah, and it's Alford again working on Ramon Foster, number 78. Watch him get off the football. They've moved him out a little wider, a different technique, and he's going to beat Ramon Foster to the quarterback and get held in the process. They try to chip on him with the tight end. That doesn't slow him down a bit. There's a big-time defensive stand for Penn State. After the touchdown by the defense, right back on the field and get a 3 and out.
Colquitt will come on to kick to Williams. Well, don't go away on us on this game, because every time it seems that we've figured out the direction it's going, it's switched.
And Penn State should get excellent field position here.
Williams low after a low end-over-end kick. 45, 50 into Tennessee territory. 20-yard return after a punt of 43. Wes Brown made the tackle. Well, 2 programs that are rich in tradition and involved in memorable New Year's Day games will take the field as number 8 USC goes against number 3 Michigan, a team that's reached the Rose Bowl in 3 of the last 4 years. The Rose Bowl presented by Citi on ABC at 4:30 Eastern, also available on ABC HD and ESPN Radio. Catch every BCS game on ESPN Radio.
It'll be a great football game. I like Michigan in the game because of that guy right there, Mike Hart. I think he's the difference in the ball game. Both teams, good quarterbacks, excellent wideouts, fast, physical defenses, but I think Mike Hart gives Michigan the edge in this ball game.
All right, I'll take USC. We'll do it that way. Penn State at the Tennessee 45, leading by a touchdown. You think Hunt might get the ball a couple of times? The big guy barrels for 4, turns his back, and then goes for 2 more.
And you see Tennessee trying to rip the ball out of his arms, and he just keeps churning the legs and moving forward. Again, in the 4th quarter, he gets better. As the defense gets more tired, 23 carries now for Tony Hunt, 114 yards.
You know, one of the great things about college football, you just look at the Penn State uniforms, and this is the way you expect them to play. A strong running game, a great defense. Hunt just picking his way, nearly broke it for a big gain. As it was, got the 1st down.
Well, they ran it behind their best lineman, number 67, Levi Brown, their best offensive lineman up front, the left tackle. And a nice job, as you mentioned, Tony Hunt being patient and just allowing that hole to open up. He's not flashy. He's a quiet player. He's a quiet kid. But his performance makes some noise.
Boy, doesn't it ever. You see all those scars on that helmet. Those are all from today. Clock running, 7:42 and counting. Well, you just wonder how a guy can continue to take the kind of pounding, because he's getting a shot every time.
And again, this is when he's at his best. I mean, these guys in the white shirts are tired of hitting him, and he's still going full speed and protecting the football. And right now, Anthony Morelli and the rest of the Penn State offense using as much clock as they can. They've got good field position, and they want to use that clock to the best of their ability as well and keep feeding it to number 26.
Kevin Kelly is probably over there saying, you know, I'd like to have a reasonably distance field goal to add to this lead if you can get me one. Hunt down to the 20. 4 straight carries, 2 first downs, 3 minutes off the clock. Marvin Mitchell made the tackle. 14 of his 26 carries today for 5 yards or more.
Nice job inside. The fullback, Matt Hahn. Their left guard, Robert Price, number 65, getting a big block.
It is harder to play defense because you have to give up so much energy on every play. And they're just getting pounded right now. Hunt has gone 7, 5, 5, and 8 on his 4 carries in this series. And 10 more.
Wow.
In your face football.
They've had some success running to that bunch-type formation. They outflank Tennessee's defense. Brandon Snow gets a big block on the outside. The wide receivers blocking, and Tony Hunt just making it so difficult because of his size and power.
Demetrius Morley is a very good safety, but he's 195. Tony Hunt is 230.
It's interesting. Tony Hunt came to Penn State in the same recruiting class as Austin Scott, who was the more highly recruited, highly touted player out of Allentown, Pennsylvania. Had a great high school career. Tony Hunt came out of Alexandria, Virginia, and has quietly just become an outstanding, one of the best that Penn State's ever had.
Today, he has moved up to 3rd on the all-time list of Penn State running backs, past DJ Dozier and Curtis Enos. A couple of pretty good guys.
Absolutely. And, you know, I want to go back to that touchdown was so huge for Penn State on the fumble return because, you know, it took the game out of Kevin Kelly's hands. Because even if Kevin Kelly comes in now to kick another field goal, Penn State already has the lead. If it's tied and he's coming in to kick for the game winner, you wonder about his confidence right now being 1 for 4.
Sure do. 2nd and an inch. Hunt, 6 straight carries. First down, inside the 5.
So you just see a tired defense and a strong running back. And that's all that gets down to. This Tennessee defense, I think, has played a marvelous game today.
You can just hear him going back to the huddle. Give me the ball.
Just give me the ball. And don't worry about anything else. And I'll break the tackle, and then I'll run over another lineup, and we'll just line up and play again.
I mean, if you're trying to be cute, a play fake, you might have somebody wide open, but give the kid the ball.
Run the clock and run 26. I mean, that's... And just see if they can stop him. That's what it gets down to here.
And the clock is approaching 6 minutes. Morelli, only 2 guys on the right side, gives it to his man, and Hunt driven out of bounds at the 5. They had all the strength of the formation to the left side again, with only a guard and a tackle on the right side of the center, and tried to run it that way again. It's been very successful until that play.
That was good defense by Tennessee. They got outside. They didn't allow Tony Hunt. The good thing Tony Hunt did was stay in bounds. He realized he wasn't going to get in the end zone, so he went down in bounds to keep the clock running.
And every second is critical because it looks like right now Penn State at worst is going to have a 10-point lead out of this drive. Now that means Tennessee's got to score twice in that limited amount of time.
I wouldn't say at worst. The kid's 1 for 4, so at worst they'll have a 7-point lead.
They'll give it to the fullback this time, Matt Hahn. They crossed him up, and Hahn inside the 1.
Well, a couple big-time calls.
Yeah.
Well, you're right. They crossed him up. They've been getting it to Hunt, feeding it to Hunt. This time they send Hunt outside. The defense reacts, and they slip it to the fullback, Hahn, on the inside.
Only the 11th carry for Matt Hahn this year. Earlier in the game, he caught his 10th pass, and John Chavis knows this could be it.
Well, he's telling his defense they're going to try to send Hunt over the top. He's telling his linebackers, get up over the line of scrimmage.
And now they're going to take a look at whether Hahn was able to break the plane on the last carry. So they stopped the clock with 4:38 left.
Nice job of picking his way through there by Hahn. Ball down short of the goal line.
Yep,
ball's down inside the 1.
Now, it's very interesting. If they go over the top, in professional football, most places in college football, the linesmen are the ones who are responsible.
After review, the play stands as called on the field. It's confirmed, 3rd down.
The linesmen are responsible for determining whether the ball has broken the plane. But in the Big East, they have made a ruling that the umpire is allowed to make that call if he sees it, because the umpire has the best view of anybody. And other people don't do this, and it has stunned me for years that nobody said, let the umpire call it. He's the one that's 2 feet away from it. So we'll see if that's a fact. Fullback dive. That won't make it for Brandon Snow. They're going to mark this one short.
Why don't you? I'm a little surprised they didn't give it to Tony Hunt on that play. I know they fooled him with the fullback the play before, but even if you're going to go over the top, give it to the guy who's got a little running start, the second back, the tailback, rather than the up back.
Well, guess what? It's 4th down. What do you do?
I think you go for it.
Field goal.
I think you go for it.
Ooh. I don't know.
I think you go for it because you make Tennessee go 99 yards.
If you kick a field goal, you make Tennessee score twice.
Right. But your kicker's 1 for 4.
This is an extra point.
He missed. No, he didn't miss any of those. He was 28 of 28 on extra points. So, okay. So that makes some sense, and they're seeing it your way.
Well,
You're
just
right
think how
You're
bad,
right on the 2 scores.
Think
Absolutely.
how bad you'll feel if you're a Penn State fan and they go for it, they get stopped at the 1 and Tennessee goes 99 yards, because Tennessee can go 99 yards.
Sure they can.
Now they're going to have to score twice in 3 minutes and 30 seconds.
You're right.
As I tell my wife, I'm always right.
What did they just take? Oh, they just took a
penalty. I think it gives him a much better angle.
Absolutely.
Because the ball's on the far hash mark. Kelly with a 22-yard field goal try. It's a 10-point lead every once in a while. When we come back, we'll find out what Derek Williams has to say about Penn State's goals for next season.
Is brought to you by Outback Steakhouse. Let go of the day. Go Outback tonight. Introducing the all-new Ford Edge. The Edge is never dull. And eHarmony.com. Are you ready to fall in love?
Penn State fans having a great time in Tampa.
Well, it's amazing. These two teams, when you think about both these teams at Beaver Stadium this year for 7 home games, they averaged 107,567. At Neyland Stadium in Knoxville, 7 home games averaged 105,789. This is a small crowd for both of them here. Penn State having the best of it right now.
But from the noise, it sounds like they all made the trip. Kick driven 6 yards deep. Tennessee will take it from the 20.
This has been an interesting game. Some calls that have gone against both teams. Penn State, last couple possessions, they had a huge offensive pass interference penalty go against them, much to the chagrin of Joe Paterno. Then a catch ruled on the field, then overruled as out of bounds. But they got a break. The last call that was reviewed, the ball that was knocked out by Dan Connor, picked up by Tony Hunt, and Penn State ended up with the go-ahead touchdown.
Now time of the essence for Ainge in this offense. Coker. This is a guy who can break the big ones.
Well, you saw the speed right there. His
Spun
ability.
out of bounds, and that could have easily been 15 more on Scarrato as he spun down Coker 5 yards out of bounds.
He had a 42-yard touchdown run earlier in the game. Earlier this season, he had an 89-yard run against Marshall, an 87-yard run against Vanderbilt because of that speed, that burst. And he showed a little bit of it right there on the screen.
And if you're Scarrato, you don't want to do anything silly at this point to give them a free 15 yards. They may not need it, as good as this offense is. Ainge under pressure, down he goes.
Sean Lee. They brought a couple linebackers. It's a fire zone, so they're still playing zone defense, but they're bringing linebacker pressure, and they got to Eric Ainge. They haven't got there often today, but this team coming into the ballgame, 38 sacks, second best in the Big Ten, got to Ainge for a big one right here.
That's a nice call there. They finally get to Ainge, and while we have the chance, let's go back to Reese Davis. Reese. 2 minutes, 56 seconds to go in the Outback Bowl from Tampa, and Penn State has assumed a commanding 10-point lead here. Tennessee with 2 timeouts remaining.
In the beginning of the show, we talked about the strength versus strength, the right hand and the left hand. I think with the left hands, the Penn State offense has had a little bit of the upper hand on the Tennessee defense. And in terms of right hand versus right hand, the biggest difference, 3 turnovers by Tennessee, forced by Penn State, none for Penn State.
Ainge protected well again. Deep down the sideline, intended for Meacham. Justin King was 2 or 3 steps behind him. 3rd and 15. You're obviously in a situation now with down 2 scores. You can't give the ball up. You're going to have to go for it no matter what.
Well, Robert Meacham has had a pretty quiet game. I mean, he's had an outstanding season, an All-American, over 1,200 yards receiving. He was one of only 3 receivers in all of college football to average over 100 yards per game in receiving yards. But Penn State has done a pretty good job of keeping all of his games to minimal yardage.
Ainge still looking, completes it to Swain at the 45. That'll leave him about 5 yards on 4th down. There's a flag down. Donnie Johnson with the coverage and the stop. This will be an interesting call. They can either get an extra down and lose 5 yards or come up with 4th and 5. Which would you rather do? Have a 3rd and 10 or 4th and 5? You like 3rd and 10?
Yeah, I like 3rd and 10 better.
Defense, the nose guard, 5-yard penalty. The previous line of scrimmage, replay 3rd down.
So you've got 2 shots to pick it up. 2:36 to go in the ball game. Pressure coming. And Ainge just chucks this one out of bounds. I think they wanted a screen and it was covered. He had no place else to go.
Well, and Sean Lee is getting after the quarterback. And right now, of course, Penn State knows there's no threat of a run. So we don't have to play run.
Right.
We don't have to worry about defending run on the way to the quarterback. It's just let's go get the quarterback. And Sean Lee, with a big pass rush, force Ainge to throw it away.
And if they don't make this, Penn State would have a chance to salt it away and get the Big Ten's first bowl win this year. Game on the line, 4th and 10 for Ainge in Tennessee. blitz coming.
I don't know if they got the play off. I think this is coming back as a delay of game. It's going to be 4th and 15.
Meacham made the catch, but back it comes.
In a very difficult situation, just got made a little bit more difficult.
Yep.
Prior to snap, delay of game on the offense. Number 10, 5-yard penalty, repeat 4th down. Please put 2:19 on the clock. 2:19.
The last 5 years has not been easy for Penn State. They enjoyed such great success under Joe Paterno. Then came some down years, and a lot of people saying, well, the game had passed Joe Paterno by. Obviously, those folks were wrong.
They should be a good football team next year. Yeah. A lot of their skill guys on offense all coming back.
4th and 15. Ames can't handle the snap. Intended for Meacham, underthrown and knocked away. Scarrato came out of nowhere. That ball may have been picked off, but Scarrato didn't care. He was there to make a play.
Yeah, Justin King wanted the interception, and Scarrato said, you know what? Let's not take any chances of a bad bounce. Let's just go ahead and get the ball back to our offense. Watch Justin King, number 1. He's sizing it up. The ball's underthrown. Looks like it slipped out of Eric Ainge's hands. He's got a pick. Scarrato says, I'm knocking this one away.
Because you're right, that ball can go anywhere. Hit off your chest, your hands, your shoulder pads.
Plus, look at the difference in field position.
Absolutely.
Actually, a smarter play to knock it away than to intercept it at that point.
Tennessee can stop the clock 2 more times. That's it. Hunt. Well, there's no quitting this guy. He is just brutalizing that Tennessee front 7.
I think he's still a little steamed that he didn't get the ball down on the 1-yard line the last possession. He got him all the way down there, ran it the first 7 plays in a row, and then they gave it to the fullback a couple plays.
Yeah, that's not right. No. You do all the work. You're supposed to get the cherry on top of the dessert.
Or at least the chance to get the cherry.
154 on 30 carries. He'll be first in line for the hot tub after this one. And again, dragging tacklers with them. Let's go to Holly.
Well, guys, after Penn State's last regular season win against Michigan State, the young team stayed in the locker room. They asked the seniors to leave. Everyone that was returning sat and had a meeting and set a goal for themselves next season. Their star receiver, Derek Williams, told us about it. That goal, he says, nothing less than a national championship will be acceptable. They feel they have the talent to do it. He said everyone was on board. They're going to have championship effort with winter workouts. Everything they do, he says, after Monday, no more losing till the end of next year.
Well, I'm sure Joe Paterno appreciates the thought, but he's not going to want any bulletin board material from any players. Never has wanted any of that kind of stuff.
Well, I think one big thing for Penn State is Anthony Morelli took a huge step forward for those goals for next year. And that team Philip Fulmer's got coming back next year, they're going to be a good football team too. Eric Ainge back. Robert Meacham hasn't made up his mind yet, but a lot of good players, a lot of talent coming back on both of these teams for 2007.
And isn't Meacham the quietest, nicest kid? Jeez. We have met so many nice young men this year. It's been a privilege to do these games. And Joe will be able to walk to the winning locker room. And the first Big Ten victory in a bowl game this bowl season. And congratulations to Joe Paterno. Win number 22. Tony Hunt, our Capital One player of the game. 31 bruising carries for 158 important yards. And Philip Fulmer offers his congratulations. Joe Paterno, of course, right now is just heading for the elevator to go down to the winning locker room. And Holly Rowe has the star of the game. Holly.
Well, Tony, when you needed the hard yards in the fourth quarter, you just seemed to get better with every carry. Corey, what was happening for you?
I mean, we take pride in our endurance. You know, I wasn't tired. They were worn out. We just ran the ball every play at them. You know, we heard all that talk all week about the SEC and their speed, but we knew personally that they weren't nearly as tough as us, and, you know, it showed.
When did you start to see that on the field, that your toughness could rule the day?
Just from the beginning of the game. I never really felt like they wanted to tackle me, so, you know, we took advantage of that, especially late in the game when we just wanted to run the ball. I mean, we just ran the same play over and over. They knew we were coming, but they just couldn't match up with us.
How is it to send your coach that's hurting a little bit out with the win like this?
I mean, he needed this win right here. He needed a big win. We needed a win against a ranked opponent. You know, guys saying we couldn't do it. We couldn't play with the SEC team, so this meant a lot to coach and us.
All right, thanks very much, guys.
No problem.
Capital One Bowl underway, Wisconsin and Arkansas. We invite you to tune into that one. Our final here was Penn State knocking off 17th ranked Tennessee 20-10. That's the final. Oklahoma and Alabama is coming up next. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For Todd Blackledge, Holly Rowe, and our entire ESPN crew, this is Mike Patrick. Thanks for watching, everybody. Now let's take you to Tuscaloosa. Here's Bob Wischusen.